Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, Texas, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games with your hosts. You're in good hands. Not more to say. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. There we go. Who's gonna walk through the door? There just might be some tragedy. It's just having fun with a special guest. Time for Stage Select.
With special guest, Mike Fallek. And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to episode 50 of the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
And I'm Justin Ham. Hi. Mike Fallek is here.
Yeah.
Mike, I have a special question for you because
Okay.
you live in the same state I do.
I know.
Okay.
I'm glad you're aware of that, Mike.
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
know. So,
I know.
okay.
Me and Justin are going to hang out soon. I'm going to bother him. It's me.
gonna
I don't
happen,
have my shit
probably.
together.
Okay. Listen. How do you feel? I feel like you've lived in other states, right?
A
I
few.
mean, I know you lived in at least one other state, right?
New Jersey, New York,
Yeah,
Boston.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Boston's
what
not
are
a
your
state.
thoughts on Ohio pizza?
Oh, he just got serious.
Yeah.
I can see it on his face.
Yeah.
He was like, I didn't expect you to come at me with this
Yeah.
early in this show.
Yeah.
Listen. I don't. Well, okay. Because now I just did say I lived in New Jersey and New York. And now
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to just hear this. The situation is not like, oh, the pizza's not good. I don't like this. It's a bad situation going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crisis. If we were in better time, if this was the Clinton years, if this was the 90s,
Right.
people would be sending support to
Right.
Ohio to try and educate people on the
Yeah.
pizza.
It's terrible.
It's beyond, it's not just terrible. It's like an endemic situation going
Yeah.
on.
They hardly try. And like there are places around where I live where that people will swear by. Like every town
This
has
is
one
go on.
establishment.
This is exactly what I was going to bring up. Go on.
Yes, they have one establishment. Usually that's like a big deal. And everybody goes there and they think it's great. And it's always really bad. Like
It's
every single
always
time.
mediocre at best. And
At
it's so
best.
embarrassing. I went to one of these places 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
and it was in a bougie area.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I had that fake money thing where I was like, we're going to spend money on this pizza, but it's going to be
Right.
dope.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. They lied to themselves so much about it. They lie to themselves.
And you live in a much fancier area than I do. Imagine where I live, where it's just like, oh yeah, we rented out like a corner in the YMCA over here, and we're just making pizzas out of it. Fuck it, like that's how we're living.
It's so, Justin, it's so thick. Why is it so much bread? Like,
It's
I'm
always
sorry.
so much. Thank you. It's so much fucking bread. It's wild.
You can take an Ohio pizza and cut it lengthwise, as they say in cooking, Chinese style cooking, where you cut horizontally, Chinese style cutting, when you cut horizontally, you can cut it open and put a sandwich inside most of those breads.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Let me see when stuff closes. It's Friday
Yeah.
night.
No,
Let's cut open a fucking Jets right now. Let's get into
let's
some
cook
Marcos.
on pizza sandwich, guys.
Yeah. No, it could be. But like no, he's right. It's like they can't figure out like Chicago, like what they're doing. They can't figure. They're trying to split the difference between the two or something, and it's coming out awful. But they're also trying to cut as much cost as they possibly can, and shopping at like Gordon Food Service for all their shit.
The big
and it all
trend around-
tastes the same. It's insane.
It's all eerily the same. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
all
no, it is.
eerily the same.
Yes.
It's like, so it's all like basically the best version of it that you're going to get is Marcos and Jets.
Yes.
And like, I will fucking eat some Marcos. I will
Marcos
eat
is okay. We
yeah,
have
it's
one
not
where
great.
I live. It's a bit of a chain.
I'll eat Jets. It's fine.
Mhm.
I've now grown. I don't think nostalgia because I don't believe in nostalgia. I've now grown into it because I like it. I have memories of it here.
Right. That makes
it's-
sense.
It's not pizza though. It is satiating, and quite frankly, my significant other always gets the cheesy bread, and I'm like, that's kind of what they're making is cheesy bread.
Yeah.
They're not making pizza, so if your whole thing you're looking forward to is cheesy bread, yeah, Ohio pizza is a great scene for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's so thick. It's so much bread. And it's always, it's not cheddar cheese. That's not correct.
Yeah.
It's not mozzarella though.
No.
Color's not right.
No, he's right. He's dead on. It's. I knew he'd be the perfect person to ask about this. I've been saving this.
If you were to interrogate them,
Yeah.
I think even under torture, these pizza makers would say it's mozzarella.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
But
yeah.
I've seen mozzarella.
Yeah.
I can go next to the grocery store and buy some. I
Yeah.
can melt it.
Wait, you can go next to the grocery store and buy. You buying some black market mozzarella, Mike?
Yeah, that's the best kind.
Bro, you don't know until you get that through the it's some people say it's pronounced caulking.
Right.
But to me it looks like mozzarella.
Yeah.
Y'all
You
remember brick caulking? What happened to that? That was a big thing. I made that
Brick
joke right now.
caulking?
Like, yeah, there used to be caulking in bricks. Used to see that a lot
Caulking?
more.
No, I'm
You'd
gonna,
see it like
I'm gonna
on-
look.
Go to like a
We'll look this up.
YMCA. They used to use caulking on bricks for some reason. It wasn't like the whole building was an ice cream cake, but
Right.
like you would see it.
Man, what if the building was an ice cream cake, though?
Listen, I'm coming up with some
That'd
great ideas here.
You
Pizza
really are.
sandwich, brick building ice cream cake. Oh, a brick building ice cream cake?
Right.
Did I add ice cream on the? It was better rhythm.
Yeah.
Brick
Yeah.
brick building.
But
ice
before we
cream
get
cake.
too much deeper, I just have one
Into
thing
what?
to.
This is the show.
I was gonna say.
No,
Justin has
but
threatened many times this will
I'm
be
still
the
not
show.
done talking about Ohio pizza, but go ahead and do your announcement or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes,
sorry.
I only have one announcement
Go
for the
for
week,
it.
and then we can devolve into whatever
Absolutely.
shit we
Fine,
want to
fine.
get into. And that is that we do have a winner for the next edition of the Suffer Select.
Oh,
Ooh,
oh
baby.
boy. Whoever
And-
wins, we lose.
Whoever wins, we lose. That is usually how it goes.
Is that
with,
not the slogan?
Suffer Select.
It should be.
And so next month we will be playing ukulele.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So look
Is
forward to
that
that.
bad? I didn't know ukulele's bad. I have no interest in that line.
Neither do we, and that's why we're playing it.
Yes. So far, a lot of like our what we have on the list from as nominations from listeners are either really old games that are therefore bad because they're so old, or really bad games, like historically just like bad games that are just bad, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily, I mean, that's a type of suffering, but I
Mhm.
wanted to, kind of clue the listeners in there's different forms of suffering. And Justin
Okay.
hates 3D platformers.
I do.
And I
Oh.
hate everything that Rare made on the N64. And Ukulele is a 3D platformer that is a spiritual
Mhm.
successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
No, it's a good
made
pick.
by a lot of the same
Yeah.
people.
Mean by this, is that the JonTron one or no?
I don't know.
One of them has
I
JonTron.
don't
I know it was a
No.
Kickstarter game, and they actually did what they set out to do, and
Mhm.
apparently it reviewed well if you like those types of games.
I thought
but
it was
neither
loved.
of us do.
You don't like. What don't you like? What, 3D platformers?
We don't know.
So I like 3D platformers. I don't
Justin
like
doesn't.
Rare's
I
3D
hate 'em.
platformers. I didn't
what
like
what else did they
Banjo-Kazooie,
make? Banjo Kazooie,
Donkey Kong 64,
Conkers.
Conquer. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, the only game on the N64 that they made that I liked at all was GoldenEye, and I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
Man, I never thought to combine all those flavors. I'm not from you, Julian's the age difference between us. That's how I generally do it in my head. I hate when we talk about age difference all the time, but like you come from the generation of gamers that know the companies. I don't know them. The
Hmm.
only reason I know Naughty Dog is because that fucking intro slaps on Crash Bandicoot.
There you go.
Like, I don't know who makes my games. I don't know who makes the games from my childhood. I don't know what companies they are.
That's fair. I don't know if it's a generational thing so much as it is an enthusiast thing.
Yeah.
No, I think it's because of this is what I've always attributed to, because the magazines were so much bigger and game news was so much bigger. It was on its way out, like when I was a kid. And so it's
Sure.
like, I feel like part of it was like supposed to be like sort of a kid version of being into news, which was like fun. Like I loved reading comic books in the paper because it did feel like being a grown up. And so any magazine that was like specific to you, magazines sucked for me as I tried to read Wizard. What is Wizard about, man?
Well, it was about comics and stuff, but
Is it?
It's
I
gone.
tried as a kid to read that comic book because I liked comics, and you wanted a magazine, you wanted to feel grown up. Man, I think I owned at least 10 issues of Wizard. I don't know what Wizard's about. I mean, comics, yeah. But what about comics? That's why I bought it, because it's a thing I liked as a kid. What is it? What are they talking about? What could they possibly write about in that? Because clearly I tried as a small child to read it and just was like, not my reading level, done, bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only speak to like Wizard in the 90s because that's when I read it, and there was a lot going on in comics in the 90s. I don't know if you remember. So there was a lot for them to write about. You had like the new like big stories that were coming out, like the new like arcs, right? The new character designs, because everybody was getting new costume designs like every other month.
Lots of deaths.
What's the new fancy like special cover, for this
Hollows.
anniversary issue coming out?
Fucking holographics are back.
Are they?
Yes, because I go to comic book stores now. I've been reading X-Men.
Okay.
And so I go to one. And the reason I got back into comic books is because they started re-releasing the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And they always refer to it in DC, but I was like, I can never fucking find it. And they're always like, yeah, like literally, they'll have like modern, I think in Brightest Day, they literally are like, oh, this is from Infinite Crisis. Like, I didn't read that fucking book, bro. I'm reading this book.
Wait. Those are different things though, because there's multiple crises in DC.
No, I'm saying in Brightest Day, I think there's a footnote of like, this is a reference to the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay. Not Infinite Crisis, because that was like the big one that was like around the time of Brightest Day.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, that would be odd. That would be odd if they did. I mean, not odd, but it would be odd that I would have this anger about it. I still would have some anger. It's hard to do that. Have you? We're getting so distracted. But have either of you ever tried to do actually do the comic event thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go through all of Chris Claremont's X-Men, and Marvel Comics changed for the worse once they discovered the power of the crossover event. Because once Secret Wars happens, like the first Secret Wars, right? That was like the first big Marvel event of that type. Like the entire trajectory of Marvel Comics changes from that point on. And like once Secret Wars 2 comes around, all of a sudden, like all of the X books, like just for like a prolonged amount of time, are just tied into all of this shit that doesn't really have anything to do with what's going on with the X books. And so all these major plot points are just getting like left like off on the sidelines for a while, and then you come back and like literally like a year's worth of comics later, and then X character shows up and it's like, oh right, yeah, nobody's even thought about this character that's been missing for all of this time.
So annoying. So annoying.
It is. It's the reason why. So the last time that I got into X-Men, because I've tried multiple times since I kind of quit, and the only time that I really got into an X book that I really loved was Jason Aaron's Wolverine and the X-Men, where it's right after the Schism storyline, and Wolverine starts a new school for gifted youngsters. And it's really good until AVX happens, and then it just devolves into a bunch of crossover shit that has nothing to do with this fun story about these new young mutants that are learning to use their powers. But and I'm
going to say something that maybe people don't want to fucking hear. Like I'm saying this like I'm so brave. I love nerd rage. Yo, so I'm gonna say this like something that people might not want to fucking hear. It was a great thing that the X-Men were not included in Marvel for Thanos.
You mean the movies?
Yeah, because if you read any fucking X-Men, it already feels like that type of pressure with events. There's so many X-Men, so many of them have spin-offs, so many of them have their own comics, especially when they're really cranking out X-Men. And like, you just lose track of characters. And like, it sucks when there's an event. Like, so it's reading X-Men already is like an event. Like, if you read X-Force, like people pop in and out and shit. And it's like, okay, this is cool. I'm seeing mutants, but like, was that an important thing or was that like a cameo?
Yeah. I think X-Men, much like Batman, it started like, I mean, it's fine, right? Like they're still very popular. But once they blew up and became like the premier book for their company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, then you want to add to the characters, you want to add to the lore, you want to add more books, right? So the instant that like you get New Mutants, right? So now all of a sudden there's 2 X-Men books, right? There's Uncanny X-Men and there's New Mutants. And the second that Chris Claremont's attention was split, you can instantly see the reduce in quality of both of those like storylines. And then you throw in X Factor, and it gets even more muddied. And now I'm at a point where Excalibur's going on, which has only factored into like one thing really quickly.
Listen, I will never read an issue of Excalibur. Like, bro, what reason is there to read an issue of? Do you know how many times I've walked into a comic shop, seen a thing of Excalibur, looked at it, and been like, just not going to read that.
Well, but we're talking about 2 very different Excaliburs also. Like, the reason I would want to read Excalibur when it started is because that's the only way that you could find out what the fuck happened to Nightcrawler, because he had been injured in the Mutant Massacre and was in a coma for like however long. And then when he got better, the rest of the X-Men had just fucked off. And I don't even know how Excalibur formed, because it doesn't actually happen within the pages of X-Men.
I didn't have to suffer through a Nightcrawler-less world. Like, there's a period of time where because, you know, those movies came out, so like everybody was on Nightcrawler's dick, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
Nightcrawler.
but he's also been dead like multiple times and whatnot, like they all have.
Well, can I tell you my least favorite thing in comic events things? As I just want to, I think this is important for the Switch 2 coverage to just talk about this.
I agree.
The fucking flyby. I hate that. Like, you're in part of the event. It's like, like Green Lantern's gotta go over here because like that's the last time anyone saw Captain America. And then it's like, who's coming with him? And then like, I know what I did. Don't fucking get at me. But then like, so then he's like, okay, but this week it's him and Batman. And so then him and Batman fucking go. And then it's like, hello, I'm Wolf Boy from some other obscure comic like side thing. And then there's like that footnote there. And then that's it with that guy. Like, he's some side character on some comic you don't read regularly.
Oh, no. Okay, see, now that stuff I like.
Are you kidding? When like someone's just for a second, I like when they're in it, but like he's in it for like a second. It's like they pass him on the way. They're like flying over and they're like, oh, hey, Wolf Boy.
So again, I'm reading old Marvel right now, right? And so it's interesting to see the difference in how comics were written back then versus now. And I think it also factors into people's complaints about the MCU overall, where, you know, a lot of stuff is like, well, they're just setting up like another movie, and like this character just like is in this movie, and like I don't know why, and blah blah blah. And it's like, because that's how the comics were. I appreciate. So right now, like I'm reading, because I picked this up at Half Price Books. I didn't realize how old it was. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But it's Avengers around 1972, right? And so back then, the comics were a lot more integrated in the sense that like they would actually try to have a cohesive timeline with everything going on. So when Captain America mentions that like when Vision mentions that he has to go like check in on the Baxter building because the Fantastic Four are out of town, you know, there's a footnote that says like in current, you know, this takes place before Fantastic Four, blah, 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 right? Because the Fantastic Four at that point were like off in space or something like that. And so that kind of continuity, but also you'd have those moments where a big event happens and it's like they do try to call like other superheroes and it's like, oh, they're not available, right? But there is that panel of, oh, you know, we would help if we could, but like this is going on, blah blah blah, or you know, we're over here. And I like that type of stuff.
I love that shit. I'm a big fan of that. Like, I'm just talking about the little cameos to like refer to some other, like where they force it in, and it's just like,
sure,
hi, I'm here, and it's just like, because honestly, I'll tell you why I don't like it. It's because I would like it. I hate that I definitely don't have the comic book for it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I would love if I understood that cameo. But it's so much reading to do. It's crazy to do on a comic book level. And you always miss stuff. Sometimes I think I'm on top of it.
Yeah, and I think the way it's done now is different than then, right? Because back then it would be like, okay, yeah, this character from another book comes in and they team up with the Avengers for like, 2 or 3 issues, and then they go off, and then there would be like the little footnote that says like, see what they're doing in blah 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 issue, and it's like, and then at the time, or even now going back, it's like if you liked them enough, then maybe you want to go check out their book. You don't have to; it's not required. Where now, yeah, I think there is more of a requirement where it's like, oh, like a really good example. And this is back when I was reading comics hot and heavy, when Jim Lee was still on X-Men. There's a crossover in the 90s X-Men that like in the first like year of the book with Ghost Rider, where if you don't buy those 2 issues of Ghost Rider, you just miss half of that story. Right, like the first issue's in X-Men, and then the next one's in Ghost Rider, and then the next one's in X-Men, and then the last part's in Ghost Rider. So if you didn't get those 2 Ghost Rider issues, you have no idea. I mean, they give you the little recap, right?
Yeah,
they always do that with
really good
notes.
about recaps.
Yeah, but still, it's like you don't get the whole story unless you bought those 2 Ghost Rider issues. Just full stop. And to the point that like in the omnibus version, those issues are in there because otherwise, like, you don't know what's going on.
Julian, as part of the Switch 2 coverage, I have a serious question for you. Do you think that Spider-Man and like characters like Spider-Man and Vision, who wear like sort of One Piece sort of looks to them, you know what I mean?
I don't know what you
like
mean.
like they're wearing like a One Piece kind of
Okay.
super suit.
Like onesies?
Yeah, like onesies, but like Vision's a sort of specific version of that too that I really think of it with. But certainly, like, yeah, your Spider-Mans would count. Like Vision is like this, like. Anyway, I'll ask the question, then I'll explain Vision. Do you think that that in the era of 3D shading, like really serious 3D shading, versus kind of letting that be lax sometimes in the 70s and 80s, like, do you think that takes away from those superheroes who have costumes like that?
Not necessarily. I think that like if you were doing like an Avengers game right now and you put Vision in there, you're not putting White Vision in there because I don't think that he's very visually appealing. Not like taken out of the comic book page.
Okay.
You're probably putting like classic colors Vision in there. But I mean, Spider-Man's in like some of the most popular games that have come out in the last few years, and he's been just fine.
But don't you think it's so different when you look at it in that flatness, like specifically that Vision type of like space lord kind of character? There's so many of them. It looks so different when they don't shade it. I don't know. It's like something magical about it. It's like, I
suppose it's like
whatchamacallit, like stained glass almost.
Yeah, because the first time that I ever saw Vision was when he was just the all white. And sometimes you would have like inkers where they wouldn't really even put a lot of detail into him. I think to play into the intangibility power that he has. Okay. So, he would sometimes just be like, yeah, just like a very simple looking character. And I mean, Silver Surfer was one of my favorites, like when I was a kid. Yeah. And he's just silver. But that would also factor in a lot with like the artists and the inkers, like, how reflective that they could try to make him look in the comic to really like get that effect across. So if anything, he'd probably look cooler, if you brought him into like a 3D shaded type environment, because it's like, ooh, everything's like reflecting off of his body. That's cool.
Yeah, that's true. Ray tracing would be interesting on that.
Yeah.
So this is just our thoughts. We're getting our thoughts out today, guys, on the Switch 2.
I mean, we'll get there. Like, we'll try to organize it somehow. Like,
what are you talking about?
I figured we'd finish with the Switch 2.
We've been talking about the Switch 2 the whole time.
I mean, that's
You don't think this is germane to the Switch 2?
It's very relevant.
Mike Fallek, what the hell have you been up to, man? How have you been?
Oh, I was going to talk about the Civil War, the comic book versus the movie. They could still do Civil War. You could still do Civil War. They didn't really do it. They didn't do the whole government registration thing. They didn't do it.
No, but I think they did a good version of it.
No, Civil War rocks. I'm just saying, like, they could literally still do Civil War.
But in a universe where everybody knows the secret identities of like 95% of the active heroes, like I don't think it's as big a deal.
Reboot.
Well, yeah, they should have done that after
on
Endgame.
the reboot. They can. They still got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, what's
You know
up?
that was actually like that's all because of a Robert Downey Jr. ad lib. Like he just improv'd the "I'm Iron Man" line, and then that completely. There after that point, they were like, well, I guess the secret identities are kind of silly, and so they just dropped it for like most until they got to like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like one of the only ones.
Shoot! I thought that was a Civil War reference. I thought that was for sure supposed to be like. I thought that was all tied together. Are you trying to?
That was just him.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
You know, that one line of dialogue fundamentally changes the way that version of Marvel was going to be portrayed, because it's like, well, and it's funny too, again, going back to reading 70s Avengers, they don't know who's in the Iron Man armor.
Yeah.
It's really weird. The team is Cap, Thor, Iron Man, Vision, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, and Giant Man, who at that point was Clint Barton. They all know everybody's identities except for Iron Man. He is the only one. He's always in the suit, and like he's keeping up the thing the whole time. He's like, oh, well, I know about this thing because I was there in the testing thing when Tony Stark was working on this design, and it's
Nice.
like, my dude, like, it's a really weird. And I do remember when I was reading Iron Man as a kid, there was a whole storyline, and actually I think they got the idea from that storyline for the Spider-Man movie, where he basically like finds someone to wipe the memories of everybody who knows that he was Iron Man, like because it had become like too widely known, like basically he couldn't trust anybody, or he felt that he couldn't trust anybody, so he was just like, I think he did actually go to Doctor Strange, now that I think about it, and just got it to where like nobody would know his identity from that point on. It's really weird. Like,
That's insane.
yeah.
I think it would be cool. What was the name of it? Was that character an extant character or a god? Was it like Hephaestus that Peter Dinklage played?
Oh, Eitri. He's actually a character in the Thor comics.
Oh, okay, cool. That'd be. Why didn't Tony Stark meet that guy?
Why didn't he meet him?
Yeah.
I think he did in the comics.
No, but I didn't read that shit.
I didn't either, but I know that at a certain point, like he gets some Uru forged Iron Man armor.
I've never read a single Thor. I don't think I've ever owned a single Thor. Have you?
Jason Aaron's Thor is fantastic. Even though I think in his like 4-year run, there are, I think, 6 Thor #1s in there because Marvel is Marvel.
Yeah.
I've been playing video games. I beat Avowed. Want to know all about Avowed?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
We have not touched it, I think, since that first week.
Yeah.
We played it.
I played it the
I
first
intend
week.
to go
and
back
then-
to it eventually, but
Me too.
Yeah. I'm
It's
a
been a
crazy
weird year so
I'm
far.
a crazy person, so I didn't listen to anything you said about Avowed.
Good.
Because I just blocked that out. In fact, I know John said something about and you guys were talking about saying Avowed. I skipped it. I get to go back and listen to that episode.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that, Mike. For someone who is not interested in video game storytelling, you sure do care a lot about video game spoilers.
I care more about I care more about spoiling like gameplay stuff than I care. Like, I want to figure it out. That's like the whole thing.
But
Like-
we don't even like.
It doesn't matter if I'm really in it and I really give a shit, if anything gets in there, do you know how slimly I am grasping on to like joy and stimulation? Like,
Apparently, yeah.
like, no, oh my God. Like, I don't know. It's just like, there is a thing. I had this discussion with somebody after you said that in the show. It's like, I don't know. I don't care about spoilers really, but then when there's I have actually had to like push the social, I don't know, norms to be like, no, please don't talk about it. And someone wants to just say one thing and it's like, bro, I don't want you to talk about it at all. It is just like, sometimes you got to even if you don't know why, you got to put your foot in the ground and be like, I need to not know anything about this. And for a game too, like I wanted to figure it out, you know?
Yeah,
You want to
but
you want to figure it out. That was that was the spoiler in this instance, figuring the thing out.
But in that conversation in particular, like what we figured out was after about an hour of playing, we were like, it's all right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. I don't know. Okay, listen. I can say. Do you want the really artsy answer or the
Oh,
practical
please!
answer?
I always adore the Mike Fallek artsy answers.
Oh,
Listen.
here we go.
Listen.
Pour that sugar on me.
I'm gonna go look at some brick caulking while you go ahead.
Is it a thing?
Yeah, it's just the white stuff in between bricks.
No. I'll find it. I'll show you. It's a
What are you
thing.
talking about? I'm just like I was like, pretty sure it's just the white stuff.
No, there's like
between bricks.
rubbery caulking that they put there. Sometimes.
Okay, yeah, sometimes, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's to
Sometimes.
seal cracks in the like the actual white parts.
Got it.
Now you know.
As long
Listen.
as half the battles, yeah, Joe.
Art
Thank you.
is literally supposed to invoke the sublime, as in like heavenly. And I don't mean to get too deep here, but like as in your moment of death where you shall meet the Lord. Like whatever that may mean to you. That is what you're going for when you say sublime, godlike, religious-like, okay?
I don't know. When I say sublime, I think about that band, and they weren't very good.
Listen, they were pretty. I think that it's more of a thing of you would be pretty upset if there wasn't a world with Sublime.
The band? No, I'd be all right.
I think I think we all can shit on Sublime because we have some Sublime. Other kids in other houses don't have any Sublime.
That's true. They should get some. They should get some Sublemons.
Don't you
too.
feel that a little bit? I like to have Sublime songs around. You
I
would
don't
be
think
upset
I know
if they
any
were
Sublime songs.
Yeah, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
You know Santeria.
Oh, I fucking hate that song.
There you go.
You hate it because you have a lot of it. It's
I
fun
don't
to
have
say.
that.
You hate it in a Seinfeldy way, where it's like, I hate lines. Well, do you, or would you rather it be like an apocalyptic wasteland? Like you kind of hate lines. You know what I mean?
Those are my
Like,
only options.
Well, I'm saying and there's two universes, Tony. Look, like I'm holding up the one, dude. Like there's a timeline where we don't get Sublime, and there's a timeline where we do. I want to be in the one where we have Sublime music, and not.
Okay, well, me and Justin are going to be over in the other timeline. Also, Trump isn't president over here. It's kind of weird how that happened.
Sublime
Easy to
is the problem.
Easy to
Yeah.
say when you have a lot of both of the other one. Listen, that is the point of it. It is meant to be ethereal and otherworldly. This is really the goals of these things, honestly. And you don't have to want anyone else in your ear for those moments. If someone is going to create something magnificent, then there's somebody else in your ear there. Well, that's why you don't always want that. You don't have to have other people in your ear for some big important moment. And it might be like if you actually want to weep at a painting, I find it very unlikely that you read an article about what the painting was going to look like beforehand. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a very different thing.
of course, it's a different thing. I'm talking insanities. Listen,
You basically, yes.
the whole point that I'm saying, because I also like this show and I like people that write this shit. Of course, I like people dissecting the crap out of this stuff and whatever.
Mhm.
But there may be an instance where those people get in your way. I think we all know that.
Mm.
Like from bad reviews.
So
and
that
people,
I mean that I can get, right.
you don't have to wait for it to be cataclysmic is the point I want to make here. The path to enlightenment is not a little cliff and then you jump off. You know, it's certainly, you don't have to if you don't like that a little bit, someone being in your ear for that ethereal moment, it doesn't have to be all the way up to spoiler. Do you know what I mean? You're allowed to just be like, I want no one in my ear for it. That's the reason I bring it up.
That's fair.
You're allowed to be like, silence. I think that's totally, it doesn't have to be so bad that the game is quote unquote ruined. It's not like food. You know what I mean? It's not like it's spoiled or you eat it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking that I should use my refrigerator more.
You probably should.
Yeah.
You should don't buy any cabbage. Do you know anything to do with cabbage?
What's wrong with cabbage?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, I eat cabbage all the time.
Oh, really?
I'm big into cabbage.
What do you do with
I've,
it?
I've actually
Do
got
you
a
wanna
couple
hear
recipes
about
for some
Avowed?
stew that I need to make.
I want to hear more about what you do with cabbage, but yeah, sure.
I'll tell you
me
both,
about
because
Avowed.
cabbage is in Avowed, and I'll sprinkle in some cabbage facts.
Okay, all right, fine.
Cabbage
That's
facts,
okay.
kids.
Cabbage facts.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Cabbage facts, kids.
Did you not hear me do it?
What? No.
I did. Did you not hear me say cabbage facts, kids, Julian?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
the recording will show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, okay. Anyway, the story in Avowed is nonsense. I don't care about the story. It's a Skyrim game. It's a Bethesda. You go in and do stuff. I did not listen to a single line of. I skimmed everything in the story.
Mhm.
I don't care about the story. It's fine. It's D&D. It doesn't have to be good story. You know,
Mhm.
the point of it is to just happen to me, and that I get to go around and be a wizard. I fucking loved Avowed. I was into it. I liked the mechanic. I thought there was clearly a thing of it of people who played a lot of Skyrim, especially the climbing and stuff. I feel like they knew exactly what they were doing to be this is a thing people do, but we can't just let people climb all over the place. I think they were knowing what they're doing. I thought the map system was cool. I playing it on very hard mode, whatever it was, pool boy level, something like that.
Sure.
It had some fun name. It had a fun name, you know.
We call that doing a Weston,
Mhm.
by the way.
Doing a Weston.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because Weston, he's the hardiest of hardy gamers, and he loves to be known for being the guy that plays everything on hard. He loves it. It's his favorite thing.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's going to pay dividends later. Trust me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Here's my point though. What are you waiting for to try a game on hard mode? It's hard. Let it be hard.
I don't hate myself that much usually.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have liked this game half as much had I played it on the easy mode, because I thought,
I don't play on easy mode most of the time.
whatever. I'm not being a person who's saying your mode is easy. I just thought that this game, because there's none of the enemies respawn in the game,
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
and none of the items respawn in the game.
Mhm.
Okay, that's interesting. Wait, because I don't play enough of the Bethesda games. Are the Bethesda games that way as well?
No, most of that stuff respawns.
It all
Okay.
respawns. So in
Yeah.
Skyrim, you can fucking tool around forever because people will whatever, and especially if you hold up quests.
It's usually on a timer. After so many in-game days go by, a cave will just everybody will just respawn in the cave. Yeah.
No, and that makes sense because it's a Pillars of Eternity, adjacent game, and I know Pillars of Eternity is like Baldur's Gate, where
Yes.
and a lot
That
of
stuff
computer
doesn't
RPGs,
respawn.
where
Yes.
it's they know exactly how many enemies are in the game, and so everything is kind of built around
Right.
Because I remember that was the thing I had to learn with Divinity Original Sin 1 was that basically I got a little soft locked at the beginning because I had basically missed 2 encounters that got me the level that I needed to then progress through
Right.
the beginning part of the game. And it's just that they expect you to have fought those 2 encounters to get that experience.
So when you play on super hard, your basically biggest hope of getting ahead is upgrading your shit.
Mhm.
So the game becomes more of this mind sweeping game where you're going around and looking, because the way they do the map is I don't know if you guys paid attention to it too much, but basically your mini map isn't really helpful. It's just basically a Dragon Ball radar for items and dead bodies.
Sure.
That's all that shows up on them. And it you just end up being a little pig, going around looking for truffles to upgrade your equipment. And it felt so good to be into that part of a game and by necessity and not by oh, that would have been a little bit, it would be cool if I had a whatever, it matters in Skyrim, but it also doesn't matter in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, the fighting is cool enough where you can also have that here. You can get better at the fighting, significantly as you go forward.
I'm sure.
But it really is, I just loved it. It combines so many things that I want to be, it really felt to me like a version of Skyrim where I had stuff that I wanted from other games. There's Mass Effect style attacking, Mass Effect Final Fantasy, the newer Final Fantasy, the attack
sure.
wheel. that gets so complicated. Like you unlock, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know how much you guys want me to talk about Avowed. Actually,
I don't care.
To
Whatever you
to
want to
spoil
do.
it. I mean, like,
I mean, I think you can talk about it without like spoil. I mean, well,
most people
don't spoil the story.
Mike, most people aren't like you, so just don't spoil the story for them, and they'll be fine.
That's easy. I don't know anything about the story.
There you go.
Yeah.
No problems.
Ask
I
me
think
what
we'll be
happened
okay.
ask me what happened in Avowed, a game I beat, and beat the final boss, final whatever boss thing, final area twice for fun.
Okay.
I don't know what happens in the game.
I'm sure.
I don't know what happens in the game, so don't worry.
Such a weird way. Of
Who
going
gives
through
a
games,
shit,
but you
bro?
do you, my friend.
I love how Mike. Okay, like I love how Mike is going on about all this shit about art, and then we'll go into a video game where they clearly spent
like, yo, fuck your
so
words.
much fucking time, and then goes, "Hey, fuck half of this painting. This half is what I like." It's so insane. Like I love it. It's so absolutely nuts to me. But go ahead,
Here's
bro.
the thing, and this is why games are the greatest art ever, because it's like, yeah, I still got to the point of thinking this was the best thing by ignoring most of it.
Mhm.
Like that's awesome. I mean, there's a story in Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Oh, you guys roll about video games. You don't care about the story of Miss Pac-Man?
What's the story of Miss Pac-Man?
You don't know? Act 1, they meet.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know if I've actually played Miss Pac-Man.
Act 2, something else.
Yeah.
Act 3, a different thing.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's real. I'm not making it up.
No, I know.
I remember that like from like seeing it in the arcade, but I don't know if I've ever actually played Ms. Pac-Man myself. I've played Pac-Man and I've played Baby Pac-Man.
What's Baby Pac-Man?
Baby Pac-Man is the really weird cabinet where you're playing Pac-Man on a screen, and then there's certain places where you then leave the screen and you're playing pinball right in front of you. There's like a mini pinball table that's integrated into the cabinet. It's a very bizarre.
That sounds wild.
Arcade
I've
game.
never seen that. Yeah,
Is the
that's
idea
crazy.
that Pac-Man is like a fucked up view of pinball?
I don't know. I think it was just, it was a very gimmicky time. And
I
they
was
were
just
just
gonna
kind
say,
of throwing
yeah,
a bunch
they
of
were,
ideas
they
at the
were
wall.
doing wild shit like that back then. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some guy out there right now who's like, I used to manufacture 1-inch metal balls. Oh, those were the salad days.
I kind of got to get a look at this Baby Pac-Man now.
We do, according to Spotify, we do have listeners that are like over 60, which I find very interesting.
I believe
Wonder
Let's
who
talk
they
about
are.
pinball.
We need Angelo.
Yeah,
That's true. I don't play that
unfortunately.
much pinball.
we're not allowed to talk about pinball without Angelo being
We did
here.
talk
It's the
about
law.
non-3D shaded, non-digital art comic books. We talked about silver and bronze era comics. That's good.
I mean, Angelo doesn't care about that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I'm
really
not
pay
making a
attention.
show for Angelo.
Well,
I
there
was
you go.
making the
Oh.
show for people over 60.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
Angelo's a young whippersnapper.
Let me tell you about the $900 food card that you can get. Let me turn into an old AI generated lady for a bit.
Oh yeah,
Wait, why?
go ahead.
It's this ad that I keep seeing on YouTube once in a while where it's this AI generated older woman who's talking about you can get the $900 you can get the food card worth up to $900. It's like a total scam, but it's like I can definitely see like my dad falling for this because he doesn't know that this is an AI person. But I clock it instantly.
Oh yeah.
So, wait. Speaking of ads. So if you
Okay.
listened to the show last week, which I hope you would have by this point,
I didn't listen to the show last week, but I was on it. Does that count?
you heard Justin talk about his personal life,
Oh yeah.
his emotional story. So, but I have Justin's phone number.
Mhm.
So imagine you're going through all of that, the ups, the downs, the highs,
Mhm.
lows. You get a text from me at, on Saturday at 2 p.m. I mean, I'm on drugs. It's the weekend.
that's
I'm
fair,
high,
yeah.
but I'm watching TV. I'm with my significant other, like on the couch next to me,
Yeah, just rub it in. It's cool. I don't mind.
No, well, it's more to say really how much I am almost blowing it and not doing great. I just tell them to be quiet for a second, and I send
disrespectful
this message to Justin.
Heart of Ohio, the one hard thing.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know how to respond to it, so I just didn't.
So that was a local commercial I saw, and I decided to send it to Justin.
I've never seen that commercial.
Yeah, in the
and I
hopes
listened to
that he had seen that same commercial because we both live in Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ad is.
No. Probably impossible to know, honestly.
It's the Heart of Ohio. I know that was it.
Okay, Heart of Ohio.
But it was so bad.
You get much stranger audio messages from Mike Fallek than I do. Because when Mike sends me an audio message, he's like, yo, I'm listening to the episode right now, and you said this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I've got context.
He gets those too. Everybody gets everything.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. Tell him, Peter.
Yeah, apparently everybody gets one.
And then he comes back later in the episode. Listen, Avowed kicks ass. Justin, are there any questions you have for me as someone who plays Skyrim? Okay, so none of the stuff.
Good.
Do you have any questions? I'm not going to even give you an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I didn't, so yeah.
Do you though? Because I can answer them.
Not really.
None of the items respond. So you basically unlike in Skyrim where you can go and kill people and do stuff. If you want to, you have a finite amount of shit you can level up. So you can't just level everything up.
So you have to make a decision. Yes.
There's a finite amount of money in the universe. There's a finite amount of items in the universe, even from shop sellers. There are places that have a lot of stuff. There's only one item that restocks in the game, and that is, I'm pretty sure health potions restock.
I was just going to say probably health potions,
I would hope
maybe magic potions.
Yeah, health potions and like some other food stuff. I think
food
all
stuff
recycles.
probably. Yeah.
And then there's an item that's like a stick. This listen up, Stick Nation. Sticks are like super important in the game. Right. Don't get rid of your sticks. Listen to me, people. Are you playing the game right now? Do not get rid of a single stick. Okay. Sticks are the most important. Listen to me, guys. Sticks are the most important thing in this game. They do respawn like in the smaller amounts, but there's more valuable sticks if you can believe that.
Okay.
Those don't respawn as much.
Are those valuable sticks like shaped like a gun?
No. I'm not kidding. Sticks are the items.
Well, I was just hoping, when you find a cool stick that looks like a gun,
Oh yeah, that's rad as shit. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I had this massive tree trunk that I found in the woods behind my house when I was growing up.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say in Texas. I was envisioning you just in the back of your yard, like going around, and it made me so happy. I didn't know it was going to be a childhood memory. I had a vision of you, Julian, like last week.
Oh, no. No. And it was kind of shaped in such a way it kind of almost had like a little handle jutting out, and I would use that as like a fun bazooka.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I had that thing for fucking years.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. You just leave that shit outside. It stays there. Sometimes it's
I brought it in.
Oh, you brought it inside? Okay.
Yeah.
That's rad too. That's the way to take care of it, Stick Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very gratifying to win. It was very gratifying to get better at stuff. The skill trees are awesome. They kick ass. You don't really have to try very hard to get like a new superpower, basically. So it's awesome. You can mix and match and make like really weird builds.
Yeah, even when I started the game, I was kind of like setting out to try to emulate a Dark Knight from Final Fantasy, where I'm like using like a great sword, but I'm also, got like some cool elemental spells that I can whip out in, when I needs them.
It's a lot like, have you ever played D&D 4th edition? Everybody has powers. Like, it's not just about being like a wizard. Like, that's the way like Skyrim is. Like, you're like a wizard, or you're just like a dude, or you have some weird power from like, because you're a werewolf and spooky. But like 4th edition of D&D is like, you're like a fighter, and like so therefore you can like summon like your strength of battle once a day, and like lift two enemies up in the air with both hands. Like they gave her like superpowers, and that's basically how Avowed works. Like one of my favorite attributes, I was a wizard through my first playthrough, of course, a wizard, but like one of my favorite things to use in the game is you can summon a bear.
Okay.
I mean, it's awesome.
That's it. Okay. All right. I was wondering what the bear did. Just
summon. I mean, it's a bear, and therefore
that's
fights
fair.
for you
That's
as
fair.
a bear.
Yeah, that's good.
It
No,
kicks
that's good.
ass. It's awesome. I think the whole look is cool. What did you guys say about it? I didn't hear any of what
It
you
looks-
said.
It's fine.
Why
Yeah.
do you think that? Why don't you think it looks awesome? Why don't you think it's fun?
I don't hate it.
We didn't say any of that. Like,
Okay. Well, then I don't know why everyone's being so mean to Avowed.
it's not mean. We just haven't like played it.
Yeah,
much.
I haven't
Like,
played. I haven't played. I played it a couple hours, and I did not hate it. It was totally
Yeah.
fine. I want to play more of it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. That's pretty much all that is.
I haven't reached that
Mike.
point where
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
where I'm like in it, but also
Yeah.
like I haven't reached that point. And like I've been really weird with games this year, where there's been a lot of stuff that I want to play, and I've bought most of it, and I've started most of it, but nothing has really like sucked me in like the beginning of last year. And it's not the quality of the games. I think it's more of just like what's going on with me personally, and like not having like the energy to really like delve into something. Like the only game that I've like finished so far, well, I take that back. I've finished a bunch of games this year, but none of them have been 2025 releases. They've been carryovers from last year, and a lot of that was during the break. But the only thing that I've really finished like since the new season started was Persona 3 Reload, which, again, not a 2025 game.
Right.
Julian, I've been wanting to talk to you about this forever. I'm so happy you don't like Persona 3.
I like Persona 3.
Persona
I just
3
don't like it as much as most people.
So bad. I don't care. I take any negativity towards it. I hated that game. I hated that game. I hated that game, and I've never said it to anyone before. I hated it so much because there's been so much Persona happiness in the world that like there's been no instance.
And Mike wanted to crush it all.
No, there's been no
Yeah,
instance to
basically.
bring up how I played Persona 3 like before Persona got hot. The what was it? 5 was the one that was
5.
like, and I saw it and I knew it was so different than the other Personas, and I was like, I did not like Persona 3. I didn't like it. I don't want to say anything. People are so happy and they're playing RPGs. Like, I don't care. Like, let them do it. I just did not. I'm so happy to have an instance to talk about hating Persona 3. Even though I'm saying, I understand you're saying you're lukewarm on it. Oh, I just never get a chance to. And it's been
I
enough
can
time.
totally see why people would hate it. And I think that there is like, especially with like older versions of that game, like I think that there are a lot of people who have like expressed that like, because I think even people who liked the game, like when it was new, they're like, man, but this dungeon is boring though. Like, and it's like so much of the game.
Was boring. The fact that if your main character died, like you were just party wiped instantly was really frustrating.
Which continues through Persona 5. Like after Metaphor, I'm hoping that that's no longer the case, because Metaphor does not do that.
Yeah.
I was less, even though I'm talking all about mechanics, I was more aligning with what you were saying about the cast, Julian.
Yeah, I think the cast is bad.
Yeah, I was everything you were saying just kind of like amplified, and just I felt they were aimless, to be honest, because I didn't even have anybody to compare them to like you did.
No, well, I think even within the story, they're kind of aimless, because like the whole thing is like, with great power comes great. I guess we should go do something with it. Like,
No one gives a shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like the villains are like, at least they're like, why do you want to get rid of this? We've got dope ass powers. Like, that, like their like motivation is clear to me, where the other guys are just like, well, I guess we should go check out that tower because it's always here like during the midnight hour, and we're the ones that can go see it, and we've got these powers. We should probably do something with them. But there's not like a really like much. I mean, there is a bit of it, but there's not much of a clear driving mission. But I will say, like, because I wasn't planning on talking about like stuff that I played this week, because we've got the Switch 2 stuff to talk about, and we've got Mike here. But just very briefly, because we are in April now, so I started Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I'm not very far at all. That's one of the reasons I wasn't planning on talking about it. But since Mike brought up Persona 3, instantly, like even just within the first like 5 hours, I'm like, I like these characters way better.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, like I haven't spent a lot of time with them, but like, you know, because you always have like kind of your main like best bro dude that's like one of the first guys, and I'm like, yeah, Yosuke already seems like a lot cooler of a guy than Junpei, and I didn't mind. Like Junpei was one of the few in 3 that I liked okay, but you know, I was like, he's no Ryuji though, but like Yosuke, it's like, okay, no, like this, you know, this guy, like he's got some stuff going on, and like he doesn't seem like your typical, like, I mean, he's your typical like high school dude, because that's usually what that character archetype is, but also he's got other stuff going on even this early in the game where it's like, oh no, you're thinking some thoughts, and you know, you're kind of doing some introspection here, like, you know, I kind of like this character. So like that's kind of encouraging, you know, right out of the gate.
Right.
Julian, because of my Poke addiction, if you actually do at some point find a convenient way to play Shin Megami Tensei, I would play it with you. Because that's like the Pokemon path. Like, because the people that made Shin Megami Tensei originally went on to do, that's the team that does Pokemon. And then Shin Megami Tensei goes off on its own way.
Game Freak made those games?
It's all, Game Freak comes from those games. It's like a whole thing.
I hadn't heard that.
Like the older ones. But you want to play, you want to play like the PS, it's on PS1, I think, right?
I mean, it goes further back than that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
You know, Devil Summoner and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Devil Summoner is literally like, it's Pokemon. It's like, you know, all that stuff. So they go on to do that stuff. I don't know what the history of it is, but they're all like tied together.
Yeah.
I would play that. I know you were saying you were hesitant to play it. I would play it. I would play that shit. If I had someone else to like play it with, I would do it. You've literally brought it up on the show. That's why would I make that up?
I don't know. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes I think you when you're listening to the show, you're like talking to us, and then those turn into conversations that you think that we've had.
It's possible, you know, now that you say it out loud.
Sort of like a girlfriend who has like a dream about you where you did something bad, and then is mad about you the next morning. It's like, what?
And I do that too to them. So that's good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, I take back something I said to you guys though. It is not the Skyrim killer. There's not enough to do to compare it to Skyrim. There's way less to do than Skyrim. That's what I was expecting. And that's what I was wanting, honestly. Like, I wanted a smaller scope, better playing, more stable game than what Skyrim is, and that's what Avowed looks like. And I totally intend to play it and finish it this year. I've just been in a weird spot, and I'm juggling way too many RPGs right now, because I'm playing Suikoden 1. I've got Persona now, but Persona is intended to be like I did last year, like playing it month after month. So that's a back burner type game anyway. But then on my Steam Deck, I'm also playing Trails in the Sky, like when the mood strikes me. You know what I want out of it? I want more. I want so much more Avowed. It was not enough. There's no post game. So
they'll probably do like they did with Outer Worlds, where they'll release like some expansion stuff.
No, I want like Skyrim stuff. I want like werewolf things. I want people to start regenerating. I want post game. Okay. You know, I want it. That's what I wanted. And so I'm upset about it. I liked it a lot. I tore through that shit. It's just classic RPG stuff. The story seemed interesting. I didn't listen to a word of it.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of talking though. I told Julian, I was like, this is a lot of
it's crazy to me. It's an Obsidian game, and their whole thing is like, hey, we write all this dialogue and make you make a choice on stuff, and that's what shapes the whole thing. And that's like a core thing in their games. And you're just like, I don't know what happened. I just was picking shit. Fuck it.
Because I would skim. It's so obvious when it's like, listen, I like D&D. The writing in D&D is bad too. It's not important.
Sure.
It's D&D. It's like, the dragon is quite thirsty. Shut the fuck up. Who cares? I'm going to do my thing. But like it was a lot of talking, and then it would be obvious to be like, and will you kiss this frog? It's like, yes, I'll kiss the frog, whatever.
Sure. I don't know if it was obvious though.
There's a chance it wasn't. There was one moment. There's a chance it wasn't.
Okay.
There's a chance there wasn't. Who cares? I still got to kill Skebligthings.
That's true.
All I want to do is shoot the bone men. I don't really care that much.
That's
honestly, I'm playing it to level up a wand.
That's true. Sometimes you gotta level up a wand, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What's to be done?
I'm missing my old home. We used to grow salamanders underneath. Shut up. I want to use my wand. I can talk to an old guy all the time.
There are times where that's totally a thing, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, Diablo 3 does not have a story.
Oh yeah,
like,
there are certain games where it's just like, okay, nobody gives a shit about any of this. It absolutely happens that way sometimes, for sure.
Yeah, I have played all the way through the campaign of Diablo 3 like 5 times. I have seen the cutscenes once.
Yeah, because the numbers go up, man.
Oh, I blow through Skyrim dialogue like it's nothing. I've heard all those lines too many times.
I was trying to say before.
Yeah.
Sure. But Justin did like get all into that, like, the first however many times. It's just that now that he's got like 10,000 hours into it or whatever.
Yeah, I can.
My hand is up, Mr. Ham. Mr. Ham, I have a question.
Sure. What?
Did you get into it the first time? Or did you get into it because that game is so old? Because people that I know got into it like year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Was it right away the first time, or was it like year 3 when you decided to get into some weird fetish of reading all the stuff like all my friends and my people did
in Skyrim?
It was not playthrough 1.
Nah, it was fine first playthrough. I was never too into the story in Skyrim, but it's completely serviceable.
But you paid attention, like you went
but I
through
paid attention to it. I knew what was happening. Like I knew.
What's
there's
happening.
definitely a lot more
really
details in it and stuff like that. But sure.
Yeah, but I feel the same way about Skyrim. Played that game a bunch of times too. It's like, I know these guys and that guys, and you got to choose the guy in Skyrim. Which guy will you do? It's this one. But like.
It's good. That's exactly how it goes. Mike.
That's the game, man. There's only 2 decisions. So, I that's how I'm gonna play it because the combat's so good. The combat's so fun.
Yeah,
it was really awesome. It was really, really cool. It really felt like it was a game that really made me feel like I was playing a TTRPG book in lifetime.
Sure,
cool. I'm looking forward to getting like further into it. I'm thinking that so we're having James and JJ on next.
Okay.
And so I want to get like some more hours into Suikoden 1 because I know they've been playing it hot and heavy because literally like their friendship was forged around those games.
Sure.
So they're very passionate about it. But I know South of Midnight is coming, I think, by next episode. I think it drops like the day.
It's very possible. I know they have ads all over it all over the Xbox front page for shit like that. So yeah.
Yeah. That's probably going to be the first one where I'm like, I just want to go through this like all at one time and finish it. Because I think for me, like right now, there hasn't necessarily been anything where I'm like compelled because either A, like the gameplay sucked me in like really strongly, or B, like the story has grabbed me, or C, I want to experience the story before people like spoil shit for me.
Yeah.
Like I know for me this year, Death Stranding 2 is going to be column C for that, where it's like I need to get through that like before like people start like, revealing like all of like the big moments for it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, with Kojima stuff, it's like you can kind of tell me everything that happens and I still won't know like what it is until I see it all assembled.
Yeah, that's about fair. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will once I go through it myself, but like just out of context, it's like because even the last trailer, it's like I don't mind watching like a 10-minute long trailer like the year the game's coming out because I'm like all of this stuff is just bizarre imagery that like out of context is like. It's like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And I'm saying that like every few seconds in this trailer. And then, I'm like, yes, like, let's go.
Right.
I mean, push Avowed back even farther. I mean, it's going to be there. That's, it's going to be there. It's going to be fine. I want to say one thing about the beating it on the hardest mode was a pretty shiny gamer achievement.
I believe it.
I gotta say. But then I was thinking about playing on hard mode. So it was 0.23% of gamers have, beaten it on the hardest difficulty already.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think if I'm right, and this is crazy, Avowed had like 6 million Xbox players.
Oh, really? That's huge.
It was something big like that. Let's say it was 6 million. Like, so, 0.2% of 6 million is about 12,000.
Mhm.
Right? We're like all estimates. So 12,000 people did it on hard. So that's not that hard. That's a lot of people that can do it. And then on top of that,
I guess. I mean, but to me, it's it's still like, to me that's not a lot. But like, are you saying that you want something where it's like only like 4 people have done it?
no, I want people to play it on hard.
It should be
It's
noted.
not that hard.
It should be noted, Mike, that the number is not even in the millions.
Oh, what is it?
It's more like I believe the peak of like concurrent players was 19,000.
Wait.
Not sure how many all spread out over wherever.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's spread out.
Those numbers, like people using them, especially for like single player games, is really like bonkers
Yeah.
to me.
No, but those achievements are from total. If you logged on at all,
total.
then
I'm
you're
trying to
a
find that
part of
number,
the
but
percentage.
they don't have anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it was a lot.
I
Either
wouldn't
way.
doubt it.
Either way,
Yeah,
it's
I
not that
really,
hard.
man, I really wish video games were reporting like their actual like fucking figures.
I'll
I
tell
miss
you
those
all
days.
a secret. It's because none of it actually helps. So they hide it. They just hide it from everyone because
No, I know. You've said that before.
It doesn't help anybody. No motivation.
I like knowing numbers. It's fun.
Too bad.
Like I used to read the video game industry trade magazines on my lunch break at Game Fellas.
Have you read this trade magazine? It's called Wizard.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a trade magazine, but
The State Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
Okay, anyway, Avowed's awesome. It's not Skyrim Killer, more Avowed. I need mods for it. I played a whole bunch of shit, but I would rather talk about Switch 2 right away. You want to end with Switch 2?
well, actually, I thought Justin, is probably a good time for us to thank our lovely patrons.
Oh, sure. We can do that. Yeah, why not?
Yes. I meant to say this actually at the top of the show, but we did release our first episode of Cinemorons for executive producer tier on Patreon.
Oh, good for
And
us.
I think it came out really well.
Nice.
We watched UHF and we talked about UHF, my favorite movie. And it was an interesting conversation. And I think it came together really well in the edit.
Good.
Next month, we're going to be watching Perfect Blue,
Yep.
which I have never seen. Looking forward to that.
And I have, but it's
And-
been 20 plus years. So
Yeah. I'm excited to, share stuff with each other and actually talk about it. Because, even with video games, it's like I'll tell Justin like, oh, you should play this. And Justin's like, cool. And then like,
And then I
Justin
don't
doesn't
get
play
around
it.
to
And
it.
so then we
Yeah.
don't have the conversation about
Yeah.
it.
That sounds like a very delightful show. I have to say. I may have to start visiting the Patreon to hear you two talk about UHF.
you have to pay
Yeah.
money.
Well,
Well, there you go.
maybe I'll find some. You never
That's
know.
true. You never know.
There's lots of shit underneath the couch.
I've heard, Mike, that if you just start forgetting the ends of sentences, it'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that on a podcast.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of our lovely patrons, but every week we like to thank our executive producer tier. And this week, we have Addy XD.
We have Big Baker.
We have Bill Tucker of A Gamer Looks at 40.
We have Boogie.
Boogie?
Boogie.
We have Casey Curran.
We have David Portnov.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Eric Peacocker. Eric, Jesus Christ, I can't read today. We have Eric Peacock of Soundtracker.
We have Xrian.
We have Game Johnson of Retrofits.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have Raymond Crum.
We have 60 wonders what the Switch 2 cards will taste like. I think they'll taste like $80 or $90, whatever they are.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Jake Smith, who's a new gifted associate producer.
Yes, welcome, Jake. Hopefully you get to look around and enjoy the associate producer stuff, listen to some Suffer Selects, and we hope you stick around.
And then you will cook bacon like a pro.
You sure will.
You'll do it.
Yep.
You don't know it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm even saying anymore. All right.
You're talking about bacon?
Yeah. I don't like bacon that much. Not that good. It's overrated.
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't
you.
dislike bacon,
I don't
but I'm also
dislike
not
it,
over
but
the moon for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm
There's a whole fucking
wild
thing
about bacon. I don't know what these two assholes are talking
These
about.
fucking goddamn millennials, I swear to God, and their bacon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Avocado toast is great.
It is good. No, that's good. No, okay. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're welcome for bringing brunch back. The coolest meal, and everyone just stopped doing it. You're welcome. That was us.
Yeah.
Enjoy bringing out literally like hobbits. I'm sorry. What did we do to you?
I don't know. You just keep you keep killing all these businesses, millennials.
Well, they know what they did.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's fair. Yeah,
Shouldn't have done it.
They shouldn't have done it. No, they really shouldn't have.
Hey, Justin.
Sure.
This is kind of weird and awkward, but I figured since we're kind of like, on a break right now anyway, this is probably the best time to do it.
Okay.
I actually blocked out, like somebody came to us and they asked if they could like rent out the backstage for a little bit for like a support group.
Oh, okay.
So you can stay if you want. Like you can totally hang out and see what's what. I'm gonna fuck off and like run to the restroom though. So but
is this a good time to have a cigarette?
I mean, if you want,
Okay.
you can. If you want to stick around and check out the group.
That one guy showed up and demanded I smoke, so I should probably get on that.
Julian, I'm gonna go back. I have to get all this mic makeup off.
Yeah.
4 hours in the chair. Did you want me? Should I keep it on?
I would keep it on
Because I'm dressed all like a mic.
He is dressed like a mic. I mean, look at
it. It takes so long. So are we breaking down for the day?
No. We'll be back.
Okay.
It's just like since we're on a break, like I
Yeah.
figured, just let you guys know, and then like that group thing is going to be going on in the backstage. I just didn't want you guys to be weirded out when you see like a bunch of people in a chair circle.
All right, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go do 10-2.
Okay.
I'll see you. We'll just send someone. I'll be in the makeup.
Okay.
The makeup
Okay.
tent.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Item Hoarders Anonymous. I am the host of this group. My name is Clancy Burns. I'm here to help all of you who are habitual item hoarders in video games. I know it's a struggle and it's a problem, and I just want you to know that we're here for you. And I really want to bring people together and make sure they understand that it's okay to use your items. I'm really glad that you're here with us tonight. Is there anybody who would like to get up and tell their story?
I would.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, hi. You mind if I smoke?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do I have to use my real name?
No, it's Item Hoarders Anonymous. You can say whatever you're comfortable with.
My name's it's not Kevin.
It's okay.
It's not. I'm not Kevin.
Oh, hello there, not Kevin. Everybody, welcome, not Kevin.
Hi, not Kevin.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I understand. Okay, the chances are I won't need 42 health potions for the last boss. I even understand probably not enough time in a boss fight to take 42 potions. I'm not comfortable, because if anyone could tell me, are we allowed to ask?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you need, how many? Okay. I'm playing. Listen to me.
We're listening, not Kevin.
I'm playing Ocarina of Time. I've got like 3 things of milk. It seems like too much milk. Is it too much milk?
It depends on the video game.
No, you have to tell me. This is cruel. None of this psycho jumble bumble.
3 does not sound like a large number for an item. I think that's actually a healthy number of items to have in inventory.
There's
I
not
think
that many things in Ocarina of Time. 3 is a ton. In Ocarina of Time, that's a ton.
Then you should probably use like 2 of those milks.
Anyway, it's been hard on me. I'm playing a lot of different games, and the other day, my daughter came in and wanted to see me use an item, and I said, not now. And it was troubling.
So you're actually passing this issue on to your children?
I don't know what she was doing. I was playing the game. Too busy watching my doodads and sticks.
Well, children tend to emulate what they see, not Kevin. So, no, I think this is a really good teaching moment.
Well, I didn't know if talking about heredity, the cycle of abuse, was really the comedy bit to go with, but I definitely think, yeah.
This isn't about comedy. No, this is about learning to cope with item hoarding and getting past that and using everything that the game developers have given you. They're your tools, and the developers want you to use your tools. There's different tools for different jobs in each game, and it's good. The tools are good, not Kevin.
Thank you. This is my first time here. It's nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for telling us your story. Well, I think that's all we have time for tonight.
Now hold on one second. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt y'all. I think I'm in the wrong place.
Wait, hold on. That was crazy. I was going to be the only one to go?
I mean, yeah. I mean, now
there's like 20 people here.
I mean, my name is Jacob Washington.
Welcome, Jacob.
I may have a hoarding problem, but I'm not sure. You see, I have this shed out up on the mountain. I was gonna try to sell some of it to y'all. Maybe you want to hoard some of that. Instead, maybe that will help y'all. But maybe I shouldn't be here. I'm just gonna go. All right. I'll see y'all later.
That's probably a different group. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a different group.
But I mean, if you are interested, all right, I got some used car parts out there.
It's not itemized.
What's that?
It's not itemized.
Well, now
shed as is, filled, pre-filled.
Now listen. Everything's negotiable. All right. Now I got some used auto parts out there. I got a couple used tractors. Got a couple used lawnmowers.
What is the width of this shed?
Oh, it's a big shed. Let me tell you, it's packed full. All right.
Okay.
Now
what else?
I'm gonna tell you right now. You open that door, you're gonna get some things that'll fall out of there. All right. It is packed full.
What else is in there? List some stuff.
Well, all right. We got some nice 2x4s in there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a couple old tools if you really look for them. Some nice. I've been saving up some plywood. I was gonna make a ramp. Take the old scooter over that.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Jacob. I don't know if this is the best forum to address this. I think this might not be healthy for
just a few more.
I'll be outside here. All right.
Well, just let him list a few more, and then
no. I really need to put my foot down. This is a special support group.
4 more.
You get 4 more.
All right, 4 more. All right. Wait, I tell you what. We got some. I got a nail gun out there. All right. I got a couple of old shooting targets. All right. Now these shooting targets, I'm gonna tell you what. They's made out of metal. You shoot them with a gun, and they go round and round. and they make that their ping sand when it's something else. I tell you what, we have a good time with that. Got some sandbags out there. All right, if you need to weigh down your truck for the winter, that's what I'm talking about right
That's
there.
3.
All right, and then I got a couple panes of glass out there. If you need to make yourself a nice coffee table, look no further. All right, now I'll be outside here.
I see
right,
no
and-
reason for at this point him not to just. It seems like he's almost at the end of the list.
No.
Why don't we just let him finish? Jacob, are you at the end of the list?
We've run out of time. We've run out of time.
I'll help him
really
out.
understand. He's almost at the
I
end
help
of the
everybody
list.
out here. Let's have a happy in between. Just come on by the shed. I'll help you out there, and I'll just show you around. There's plenty out there. Everything's negotiable. All right,
Yes,
I'll just
I
be
do
outside.
need to end the group,
All right.
so they everybody can talk to him. So we're going to go ahead and close up. Jacob, before you go,
All right.
could you set aside those targets for me, please?
Oh, absolutely. All
Okay,
right.
thank you. All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Item Hoarders Anonymous. Thank you for everybody stopping by. Just remember, the items are there for you to use. Use them. All right, we'll see you next time. I've been Clancy Burns. Good night.
Oh, I think so too.
I think, yeah, okay. I think they're done back there, guys. So we can go ahead and I know it's kind of a weird thing to do, like have like an anonymous type of
you gotta
support
use the
group in the
space.
in the,
You
in the
have to
middle
use space.
of
It's
of
a
sh-
weird
of
it's a
a
weird scheduling
variety
thing, but
show,
you know what are you gonna do?
you know, like you got to pay the bills somehow, right? And
It's rent. Rent is rent is rent.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
Fine.
saying. All right, Mike. Let's do a switch to sandwich. We'll do switch to here, and then we'll do other stuff, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Because the big thing this week, and like I did want to talk about it because it is a big deal, right? Like new console is always a big deal, and this week Nintendo actually came out with like all of the news about the Switch 2. Although I maintain that the actual presentation, when it comes to actually giving information, was piss poor.
Great. Perfect.
It was an hour-long presentation. They very easily could have made that a 2-hour presentation and answered the questions that everybody had when that thing was over.
Sure.
Because it's just been like a shotgun blast of information like every couple hours, like after the presentation.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get very confusing and muddling the thing. And it's like, I get why some of the stuff they didn't want to say, and we'll get there.
Sure, yeah.
But even so, there were like a lot of just like fundamental questions about what this thing can and can't do that I think would have been done a service if they had addressed it in the show. And also,
For
there's
example,
we'll get there. There's a particular game that is either A+ trolling by their company or a very good sign that they have no idea like what their audience is into, because it was a thing where it's like, you don't put that in a sizzle reel, you give that 5 minutes, and you make that like one of the big points of your presentation, because people would lose their shit, and they did, but for different reasons. So this came on like early on like Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And I had it like kind of just like running in the background with the audio off. So I was just kind of like, you know, darting back and forth. And so it wasn't like a really good way to like take it in. And then after work, I actually did watch like the 4K upload on YouTube on my TV. So when I did that, I went through and just like jotted down like a bunch of notes. And so we'll kind of go through that way.
Sure.
But I guess just like up front before we do anything, like I gotta say, like, I'm impressed with the machine.
Okay.
It addresses most of my problems that I have with the Switch. It is way more powerful of a console than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting launch PS4, like base PS4 quality, and it's like, oh no, this seems like it's like, if not on par with the Series X and PS5, it's like right there. It's absolutely way more powerful looking than the Series S.
Interesting.
Because that's kind
good.
of what I was expecting,
Yeah.
with like either a Series S or like, you know, PS4, you know, somewhere in that realm.
Right.
I was not expecting it to hit 4K. I wasn't expecting it to be a 4K
yeah, wait,
console.
can you list the features because I don't really follow this with these things. Because I really like Nintendo, but like, what were the things that made it more powerful?
Well, I mean, I don't think they've released like actual specs. I'm just going based on like the games that they showed and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Like they've got stuff running on that console that I did not expect to run on that console.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't expect to see any current gen stuff on this machine, because that's kind of been Nintendo's thing since, they tried it with the GameCube. That was like the last time they tried to really be like competitive with the other companies, even though they hamstrung themselves with the mini discs. But an effort was made. And then since then, they just kind of went their own route. And, to their credit, like they've been dominating with the exception of the Wii U. So,
yeah, they've been killing it. So,
yeah. So I don't, say any criticism that I have is you can always like finish with, but fuck you, like they're number one. And it's like, yeah, fuck me, they're number one.
Yeah.
But I did like Star Wars Outlaws is like a game that's coming to this console. Like, oh shit, like that, that's kind of amazing, right?
I think Cyberpunk is too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, Cyberpunk, like that's a 5-year-old game at this point, but it does have like Phantom Liberty in there, which is the PS5
that
exclusive stuff.
That game. Yeah, it's 5 years old, but it absolutely fucking still looks really good and is a fucking benchmark a lot of the time for graphics and shit like that.
Yeah, and this is clearly like the upgraded version of it.
Yeah.
Quick aside, like because I keep seeing a lot of shit on YouTube of like people comparing like they're like, oh, graphics suck now compared to games like 10 years ago, blah blah blah. And like I saw this one video where it was someone playing The Witcher 3, and he was like, when did this game come out? And he's like, man, what happened to video games? And he looked at Forspoken, and I was like, my dude, The Witcher 3 has had like 3 separate graphical upgrades since 2015.
Yeah.
Like the game you're playing right now is not the game that came out 10 years ago. It's just not.
Wow, that's interesting that you didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they started out with Mario Kart World. That's the name of the new Mario Kart. Yeah, I got to say, like, it looks gorgeous. Like, it's a very, like, when you watch it in the 4K like version and everything, it's like, oh yeah, no, that looks impressive. Like the games look impressive. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from that. I was impressed with what the Switch 2 can put out. Because again, I was not expecting that. Because when I had it on in the background and they said that like the screen was like in the handheld mode was 1080, I was like, oh god damn it, they're still like a full generation behind. And then later in the presentation they say, but when you're docked, you're 4K, and I'm like, oh
yeah,
all right, well, I'll eat some crow there. I really didn't expect that.
That's interesting.
Now emerges the actual Nintendo fan. Don't worry, Nintendo fans, I'm here. That was not enough fanfare for Mario Kart World. We're not done with Mario Kart World.
I wasn't done with Mario Kart World.
All right.
God damn it. You're so impatient with this shit.
When do we talk about Mario Kart World now?
Yes.
It's fucking rad.
It is. It's got 24 people like in a race now. It's a completely open world thing. Although I will say that was the thing that like killed it for me, where I was like, oh, man, you had me until you said open world racing, and now I'm not interested.
It's wacky races. Like,
it is wacky races.
Literally is a Grand Prix open world wacky races.
That is what I was thinking. Like when I watched it the second time, I was like, "That's actually pretty rad."
I know you love old ass Boomerang Hanna-Barbera cartoons. It's wacky races.
No, I hate Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but I like wacky racers.
Wacky racers is great.
Yeah. And actually, my favorite mode that they've added to this game, I think it's very cool, which is sort of like the Mario Kart equivalent of Fall Guys, where you're just trying to like make it through checkpoints, and if you every time that you go through a checkpoint, it starts to cut off, like it's like you have to be this place or higher to stay in the race. And so you're doing your normal Mario Kart shenanigans of like blue shells and invincibility stars and all that stuff, and trying to take shortcuts, but all the time like this group of 24 racers is whittling down until like one person makes it to the finish line. That's cool. I think that's really neat. I don't care for open world racing. Like when Burnout Paradise came out, I was like, oh man, like that's not, I like bespoke like tracks that That's just me. Like,
Yeah.
again, this is the biggest thing that they have.
How did the racing? I didn't play Burnout Paradise. How does the race? Because I don't really understand really how the racing is going to work mechanically. I didn't play Burnout Paradise. Like, there are open world racing games
Yeah.
already.
Oh, that's like the way that most of them are these days.
Okay, so how does the race work? I don't know that because the racing game I play is Mario Kart, the best racing game that's made.
So usually what'll happen is, depending on the game, it's either like you go to a specific point and that's like the beginning of
Yeah.
a race, and then like the race starts and you go to a certain finish point.
Yeah, it's like point to
and-
point, basically.
Yeah.
Usually, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
interesting.
some games have it where you're just driving around and then someone will kind of like flash their lights at you and then a race just starts there. And like the game automatically like comes up with the route.
Yeah.
You're not doing laps or anything like that.
Interesting.
And so Mario Kart World is like you're racing in like segments, right? But part of each race is also you traversing to like the next area. Where like the next set of races are going to happen. So the way I understand it is like, you'll be in this segment of the world and there might be like 3 or 4 races that are happening. But then on that last race, part of the route is also you transitioning over to the next set of
That's a cool
races.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. My thing is, and like, look, I would feel this way if Sony had like shown off the PlayStation 5 and they're like, and we just have Gran Turismo, or if Xbox had like come out with the Series X and they're like, and we just have Forza. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, yeah, it's the racing game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like, to me, it's like, it's a known quantity.
To-
like, I don't
to-
care.
that is. Sorry, I want to hear Justin's reaction.
Oh, I was gonna say to you and I, yeah, probably. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
to everybody else, like this
Can
is
I react
everybody else-
normally?
it's huge.
Can
Yeah.
I react normally then?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, it's fucking the best thing. It's incredible. There's going to be a new Mario Kart.
This is normal?
Nothing's better. Nothing's better than a new Mario Kart. I mean, come on, incredible. Looks awesome. There's grinding now.
Sure.
There's like
yeah.
grinding and like weird like slides and things.
My
It's gonna be awesome.
actual note is Mario Kart World is gorgeous. No desire to play it.
That
Oh,
sounds about right. Yeah.
Literally the only reason I would buy a Switch.
I'll probably buy it maybe to play with my niece when she comes over for a week, and then that'll
never
be
touch
that.
it again.
Yeah, and then
Right.
never touch it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to reveal a Fire Emblem. Until then, I do not care. That was actually like one thing when I was like looking through everything, where I was like, oh, there's no Fire Emblem. I don't really need to watch this, do I? Because I don't care. It's sad that I said, I was like, okay, well, no, crisis averted. I don't need to buy this now.
I just have to be honest with you guys. Like Mario Kart is like absolutely fully a reason to just own any Nintendo current console. Like the ability to play Mario Kart currently is worth the price of a Switch alone, in my opinion.
Yeah, I am a sad, lonely man that is just like I'm gonna it's good. Like it's literally would be like when I bought Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch, where it's like I fart around with it for about 2 hours, and I'm like, yeah,
About
all right.
right. Yeah, that's about right.
Like-
That's how I am with a lot of Nintendo games personally.
Why?
I don't know. There's just not much. They don't really appeal to me like that. A lot of them are multiplayer focused and stuff like that. Like
Mario
I don't
Kart
really
isn't.
care about going through.
Mario Kart is absolutely multiplayer, folks.
Yeah.
What are you
No,
talking
because
about?
the AI is like racing you and it's
Oh,
fun.
the AI is just like every other racing game I've ever fucking played, Mike.
But
Jesus
it's
Christ, it's
jumping
just
and
a
looping, you get
racing
good at the
game,
race.
Mike.
I play a lot of Mario Kart alone.
I know it's a great game. I'm not saying it's not. I'm
I
just
played
saying.
a lot of Mario Kart alone when I was 14
Yeah.
on the Super Nintendo when it came out.
Yeah,
That's the only one that I did that with. Like,
yeah.
racing
I
games
like the Super
historically.
Nintendo one.
Yeah, like I rarely play racing games. I played the shit out of Beetle Adventure Racing on the N64.
Yep.
I played the shit out of Burnout 2.
Sure.
And I played the shit. Well, if you can, I played a decent amount of Forza Horizon 5. I played and decent amount for me is like I played it for like about 10 hours, which that's a lot for me with a racing
That's a good
game.
amount. Yeah,
Need for Speed. You ever played Need for Speed, Julian?
No, I mean I probably touched it in the store, but I never like took one home.
I played
or
a couple
anything
of
like
those. Yeah.
Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah.
Julian.
that. After
yeah.
what I just said, how does that surprise you?
No, because I would have thought that would be of that list. I don't know. One would have snuck in.
Hot Pursuit, like, you know, I was like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
cool
come on,
idea.
man, Hot Pursuit.
And then, but I didn't feel the need to play it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next big thing that they showed in the presentation was the use of the C button. That's the new button that they added, which gets you to game chat.
Good.
Which is you could, and I thought it was funny. And like I have like my note was isn't Apple also known for acting like features that the competition have had for years is somehow innovative when they do it? And I wasn't sure about that, but yeah, a lot of people have made that same joke. Like since I made that note, it's like, okay, yeah, because they're
it's a Nintendo
like,
thing. Yeah,
the whole presentation, and it's a good chunk. It's like a good like 5-minute part of this whole thing is them. It's like, oh, you know, you can you know chat with like 4 other people and they can be playing different games or they can be playing the same game, and you can see like their screen on the bottom, and if you have a camera, like you can see their faces. And I'm like,
ooh,
let's see, did I didn't put it here. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I was like, are we in lockdown again? Because it felt like so height of COVID type of thing, which I'm sure that's probably when they started to come up, like when they decided to implement this.
Yeah.
So more power to them. Like I'm sure that there's a certain generation of kids that they're going to be all over this.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's
not a bad idea. I mean, it's been done by everybody, so like I'm glad that like they've got it. But I did put that it's very cringe and it's totally made for VTubers. VTubers are going to have a field day with this shit, like, because they did show like with the camera, like you can insert your image into like games and stuff like that. Like they showed, like there's an upgrade to the most recent Mario Party where like it's a game show with Bowser, and it's the most Connect ass shit. Like, nice. I'm like, this seems very familiar. This feels like something that was a colossal failure about, I don't know, 12 years ago.
Well, that's because it didn't have Nintendo didn't make it, Julian. So now
I was shocked by the camera. Are people not shocked by the camera in reactions? I was shocked to see a camera.
I don't know if shocked is the word. I think it was more like, that's a thing that you sure did.
Yeah, I was like, why? What did they show something to do with? It's just for chatting?
No, I just. Are you here, Mike?
Yes, I'm saying, is it just for chatting? Did they show any like iToy games or Connect games?
Yes, I literally just talked about Mario Party where you insert yourself in the game.
That's not I guess that's a game? That's just are you saying like you're playing with your image, or it's just like it takes a profile picture? I'm talking about
there is a part where it's like an add-on to Mario Party where you're in a game show with Bowser and you are in the game. And you were doing things, and it looks like fucking PlayStation 3 iToy shit.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like it's just like a profile picture.
I mean, there's that too.
I'm sure,
but no, there's elements where like, you know, also sort of like when on the Wii, like you would, you know, sometimes you would insert your Mii like into the games and stuff like that. It's like that, but now it's your mug if you choose to do that. So I'm sure with Nintendo, it's only going to be like friends. Like you're not going to be getting like, you know, stray dongs like you would with Uno on the Xbox 360. But you know, you never know.
You never know.
They also did that on the 3DS. They had a lot of bullshit like that, like AR and camera stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
A lot of the stuff that, and we'll get into it a little later. It's a lot of the like gimmicky stuff where it's like, yeah, this is going to be like not used by anybody in a year,
probably
type of thing. But there's a lot of it in the system, and it's part of like my problem with like Nintendo since the Wii is that they have to kind of just like continue with this course of action because they're kind of like shackled to it at this point. They can't really get away from it because then they lose out on the possibility of like re-releasing those games or reselling them to you.
I want to ask you about that when we're all done, because I have a question for you on that point, but I want to hear everything and hear your all before that.
They did announce Game Share, and my note was nice that Nintendo remembered that they did this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If you remember, like the DS, you know, you used to be able to like broadcast like certain games for multiplayer.
I never owned Mario Kart on the DS.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can do that with the Switch. You can have one cartridge and then have that being beamed to other Switches, including Switch ones on certain games. And that's cool. I think that's a really cool feature. Like, I'm surprised the Switch didn't have it, honestly.
Yeah.
And obviously it's only going to be like certain compatible games and stuff like that, but
Switch One has the opposite. In fact, there are online games you have to subscribe to play with your friends. So even if you have like Star Wars Pod Racer, for example, you have Star Wars Pod Racer and your friend has Star Wars Pod Racer, but your friend you both own the game, but your friend subscribes to Nintendo Online. If they want to play using Wi-Fi, you cannot play unless you also subscribe to Nintendo Online.
Yeah.
So that's the opposite. That's the opposite.
Let's see. I have a note. Oh yeah, because they talked about that now, like the system has 8 times the storage as the Switch One, which is cool. But I did note that we're still stuck with cartridges and slower storage speeds. And a lot of the carts. So this is a thing that wasn't. Oh, I think they do get to it in the presentation, but I don't think it was made clear. Which is there's certain types of Switch 2 cartridges that do not actually have the game data on them. They have a key to then allow you to download the game and use it on your Switch.
That's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why do that? Why?
Because we're moving slowly into
because they're
getting
cartridges
people
that can't actually
Yeah.
They don't have the capacity to store
the
why make
cartridges
it?
that are now
Why
coming
make
out
it
for this
anymore
console.
then? Why make it? Why make that plastic?
Because there's still people that do not have access to a always online connection. But you do need to connect to the internet to authenticate it the first time.
To get it.
You have
Yeah.
to download it. Right?
Right. So you'd have to
wait, you're downloading it. Why are they making any plastic at all?
Because so in this situation, once you have downloaded it the first time, you can play it completely offline. Where a digital game, you have to be connected in order to access that game usually.
Is that true? I don't think that's true on the Switch. Like, it's just on a flash card. Is that true that you have to be online to play like a digital download?
Some of them I believe you do, but I'm not 100%.
I don't think so, man.
I don't really take it out.
That's how it works with most
so.
digital games. But I don't.
I know. I was going to say
the Switch. The only thing you can do is if you have the what's basically what people know is the virtual console, like the online, like that's the only thing that needs to check if it can be played online. Like otherwise, you can always be offline.
With a digital purchase?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that may have changed. They might have come more in line with like what happens on the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so then that's
usually
even
Xbox
fucking
and
shittier.
stuff.
That's what I'm saying is why manufacture this fucking thing that's just literally plastic that's going to kill the fucking planet. I don't understand. When the games came on them and the games worked, that made sense. So you're going to go and buy a cartridge, a fucking hunk of plastic for no goddamn reason that's going to come in a case, and then you're going to put it in your thing and you're going to download it once and it's not even on that game?
Mike, but what if the case looks really cool?
That is insane. That is insanely wasteful. If that's true, that's really upsetting. That's really upsetting.
This is the funny thing that I've noticed because I find it interesting because like when it comes to like Steam and like Xbox and PlayStation, like I've seen like a lot of sentiment of like, oh yeah, I'm basically like like a large like physical games are going away. People even sometimes get made fun of for wanting physical, blah blah blah. But then Nintendo does this, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, I can't believe that the game isn't on the cartridge, and blah blah blah. Because like it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're really precious about those cartridges now. Like
it's weird.
It's a weird thing. I think,
but I'm not on that team. I'm on the team.
No, I know you aren't. I'm saying that there's a lot of people that are, and I find it
that's
amusing.
Insane. That's insane. But this is like terrible for the environment. I'm against this if this is going to be a thing. It's not okay because you could literally do anything else. You could literally be like, here, take to your store a custom computer that we build for you, and people come in and they put their Switch in and you give them a McDonald's toy. Then we wouldn't be wasting like valuable metals and like these things use gold and metal. Like you're just doing that for like no reason, some pedantic fucking reason. There's going to be millions of these made.
It's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
It's not even about the physical game or not. It's like just wasteful. You could give people a McDonald's toy. It would be better for the environment than that. Give them a cheeseburger. I don't fucking know. Like,
McDonald's
that's so
toy
weird.
of the Moon Man.
What was that?
It's the McDonald's toy of the Moon Man.
Mac the Knight.
Yeah, Mac the Knight.
Yeah.
I don't. I missed it.
Yeah, you don't know who
Parts-
the Moon Man is.
You don't know
You're
Mac
too
the
young.
Knight?
I know Mac. I know this. No,
Mac tonight.
I don't think I know Mac the Night.
It's
The,
Mac.
No.
the Moon Man playing the piano
Yeah,
for McDonald's because they were open late.
yeah, they were open late.
No,
Okay,
I
yeah,
was
that the
thinking
thing.
of the song. That's not Mac the Night.
That's Mac the
No, I know,
Night.
Mac
but,
the
well,
Knife,
but no,
yes,
but
Mac
the,
the Knight
campaign,
was
but the
the-
I don't
character
know what
was
that
Mac
is.
the Knight. It was the play on.
It wasn't
Mac.
Mac. Was it Mac the Night or was it Mac 2 Night?
It might have been Mac 2 Night.
I think it's Mac 2 Night.
but I think the character was Mac the Knight.
He might have been.
Yeah.
He might. I'm pretty sure because he was a Moon Man.
We'll
yeah.
never know.
So the next thing that they showed,
Mhm.
and so this is going to be a bit of a theme with their strategy on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
So they show like a game called Switch 2 Welcome Tour. And it
Sure.
is the shittiest looking like introduction to the features of the Switch 2. It's like you're this little guy running around in like on the hardware and like there's like information kiosks about shit. It's basically like an
Okay.
interactive instruction manual,
Sure.
right? And there's like little tech demos that you can play in there that have like some gameplay like that kind of there's one game that kind of reminds you of the Fly Swatter game from Mario Party, but it's more with like
Yeah, of
spaceships and
course.
shit.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, that's like a dumb kind of shitty little pack in that you know is like a good way to get acclimated to the Switch
Yeah, sure.
2. It's a paid game.
Yeah, I heard about this one.
And it
Oh,
looks
boy.
so bad. And so
Yeah.
I need to get on a soapbox for a little bit because I find it amazing that once we got to the point of digital games being capital A, capital T, a thing,
Yeah.
that we just as like a society did not start to get up in arms about why don't the consoles all come with a digital pack in?
Yeah.
Because
right?
it's a digital game. Why not? Games used to come or systems used to come with like a physical game in
Yeah.
the box. And now that it's like even cheaper to do that and like just have it like preloaded up. You don't even have to download it.
Yeah.
Just preload the fucker on the console.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't do that. But then Sony did do that with the PlayStation 5 with Astro's Playroom. And it's a phenomenal
It's
game.
great.
Like,
Yeah, that's been the thing I've been thinking the entire time is just like Astro's Playroom was really awesome. Like, and
Yeah.
Isn't this kind of a ripoff of Astro's Playroom? Don't you go around in the hardware in the first Astro's Playroom?
But Astro's Playroom is a video game where you
it's
have a
actually good.
character
Yeah.
and you have levels and you have objectives and you have enemies and
So
you
maybe
have bosses.
maybe they think. Don't you think that they think this is that?
Mike, this is just you as a little bitty dude just kind of walking around on top of the Switch 2 and reading information kiosks.
Right,
and
sounds stupid as shit, but maybe they think
occasionally
this
you
is
get
that.
to play occasionally you get to
Possible
play a
they do.
game that shows you how to use like certain features of the Switch. Like there's a golf mini game to use the mouse functionality.
yeah, but here's the kicker is Astro's
it's
Playroom
$10.
was free. Came
Yes.
on with
It's still
the-
free.
Yes,
Yeah.
still free. You bought
Yeah.
the system. Here's this game. This shows you like this is our basically tech demo for what you just bought. And now this thing is actually they want you to pay money for it. It's great. Oh,
That's
man.
crazy. Like, what do you do to promote that? I mean, what's the learn how to play? So it has to come out day one.
I don't.
Well, it is day one.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
But it's a separate
But so is
charge.
it the
It's not-
first game? But that's what I'm saying. If it's a tutorial thing, then that means that I don't even know how to buy things. It's not even a tutorial on how to buy things. So I turn on my Switch and
There's probably
going
going to be something on the
buy
splash
it.
page.
But the first thing you do on your magical toy is buy something.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. And only that's so it's either frustrating for a child, frustrating for a parent, or unnecessary for the average intelligence
Yeah.
gamer.
all of the above. Because
Yeah,
at
pretty
the
much.
end of the day, it's not even like an interesting interactive experience.
Yeah.
Now, no, I don't know if it's an interesting interactive experience. We don't know that. We haven't played it. It could be. You don't know that.
Mike,
But
Mike,
what I'm
it's
saying is
literally-
it
it's
can't
literally
be a
you looking
tutorial.
at-
If it's going to be a tutorial on the system, it only makes sense to make it free and on the system already. Otherwise, then the
Yeah,
first thing you do
I
on
don't
your
think-
toy
Yeah.
is buy something, like put in my credit card information or some shit.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Sign into your Nintendo account immediately.
Yeah. Like when you bought a PlayStation 5, like I don't think that Astro's Playroom is like preloaded, but it does.
I can't remember how that works.
Like it shows up on like as the first game, like on your thing. And so if you're like, oh, what is that? You click on it, it's like, hey, download this for free. And it's like, oh, there you go.
Hey, want to put something into plastic? I'll tell you something that needs to stop, like by the next gen of technology. My bank is I don't want to brag, but I use a name brand bank.
Oh, wow. Sir. Sir. Okay.
No more guy in a leather hat with a gun protecting a pile of cash.
That's for me.
It's like sorbet.
Man, I feel outclassed
money
already.
now, baby. They are able to coordinate with burrito companies.
Okay, great.
Airlines, makers of small knickknacks to get money places. Why do I have to sign into why do I have to link any of my accounts? Like, why is it not I buy the thing with my credit card and like TD Morgan Chase. They say, oh, you bought a fucking Nintendo. We have all these lasers and scanners and things we have to do to scan this thing out of the store. Boop, it logs you right into your Nintendo account. I shouldn't have to do it. It should just be tied to my credit card. I don't get it. There's all these dystopian future things happening, and none of them are me having a chip in my arm, and everybody knows who I am.
Mike, we can't email you special offers if you don't sign into your fucking Nintendo account. So
Thanks,
you
got
just
the
go
email
ahead and do
too.
that.
Bang, fixed it. Whatever.
Well,
also, like, they haven't, I don't think they've said yet, but I still feel that we're dealing with friend codes. Still,
probably.
Like,
they're
so behind on so much.
Way
like,
they're gonna do friend codes.
Oh,
again.
they probably will.
I'm pretty sure they're still gonna do friend codes. We'll see.
We have to protect the children at all costs, Mike. There's a camera now. Who's gonna flash their junk at the children? You don't know. Friend codes. That'll stop them.
Yeah.
We have to stop this junk from getting on to our children. Friend codes are the only way.
Yep. And this was the next thing. They talked about like the various types of cartridges that you can play, or different types of games you can play on a Switch 2, right? So you have obviously native Switch 2 games. You have original Switch games running on, with backwards compatibility. And then you have like original Switch games that get like an actual like upgrade with like better graphics, better frame rate, all that good stuff, right? So apparent, and I had double checked this because I want, again, a lot of the information was not presented clearly or at all in this presentation. You're not getting any type of like just native upgrade to you just like pop a Switch game in to a Switch 2. Nothing's happening there.
Yeah.
You're just playing the Switch 1 game as it ran on the Switch 1.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. So, and to be fair, Sony is also kind of bad about this, where I think like if you just pop in like a PS4 game into a PS5, there might be like a couple little system level things that it's doing, but not a lot. And even the PS5 Pro, it's more on a case by case basis. This is one of the places, and there's a couple places here where Xbox has like everybody just like beat, like just straight up.
Yeah, it's more of an Xbox feature, Mike, like where they do kind of like upgrades, like just without you on a system level. It'll just be like, oh hey, here's like a graphic. It'll just download it when you download the stuff for the game. It's just like, oh yeah, here's all the new graphics that we've upgraded with. Yeah,
from Xbox One to Series.
Yes.
Yeah, so it started with the Xbox One X. That was the first console that did it. Where like if you popped in like an Xbox 360 backwards compatibility game or an original Xbox game, they were just automatically getting upgrades.
Yeah.
And then developers could choose to add to those upgrades. So like CD Projekt Red actually did a full-on graphics patch for The Witcher 2 on 360 that made it even better, right? But on a system level, like from the Xbox One X and on, like currently, they do things on a system level for older games that just make them look and run better. And then it's up to the developer if they want to go the extra mile to upgrade it even more. Nothing like that is happening on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
so
not-
if you pop in Bayonetta 3, it's still going to run like shit
Yeah,
on the
I'm
Switch
not
2.
surprised, but at the same time, it is kind of a bummer.
It's a bummer, especially when you consider that like
But why are they? What are they claiming then? What are they
they're
claiming?
not claiming
when-
anything. I'm just saying that this is a disappointment.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, you know, to be fair, Sony is also kind of a disappointment in here. But but they've got certain things there where, you know, down the road you could see it being more of a thing. I kind of doubt that it will be, because Sony's also like pretty lukewarm on back compat.
Yeah.
But
Just buy all your games again. That'll solve it. Don't worry
but
about
the kicker is the few games that are getting like an actual graphical upgrade from the Switch to the Switch 2.
Okay.
Now, Nintendo had the opportunity to do something really cool, which would have been just like, hey, like these games just got like a free upgrade, and you know, you're good. But that's not the reality we live in. If you already own the cartridge, like or have it digitally, it's a $10 upgrade. That's not bad. That's kind of what Sony does on PS4 to PS5 stuff. It is what it is. The kicker, and this is mainly just because Nintendo is Nintendo.
Yeah.
If you're buying, because there are Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games that come in like a Switch 2 packaging and everything that have all of the stuff in there. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, a 2-year-old game, is 69. No, I'm sorry. That one's 79.
Is it? Oh, it's 80. It's one of the 80 ones. Okay,
it's one of the 80 ones.
Nice.
Because the game never dropped in price.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and this is more of just like credit to Nintendo where credit's due, because like I do feel that like games have been rapidly devalued over the years just because of the way things go.
Yeah.
But it's also just a fact that like that's kind of what people expect, right? So because I'm also like, you know, like I want to be clear, like I thought it was pretty bullshit when the PS5 Pro came out and Sony was like, hey, here's this remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn and it's $60.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing should be 30. Like I don't know what we're doing here. That game is like you know, even because they didn't, you know, it's just like it's like a really nice remaster. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are we paying $80 for a game that came out at 70? Like, you know, at the very least, it should just be
the same price.
Just be this, yes,
Yeah,
and have that be a free upgrade for people who already have it.
Yeah.
Man, there's some choices that have been made.
Oh, there have been some choices.
We already talked about Mario Party, so I'll skip on. I did point out like one thing I put in all caps, and it isn't even a launch title. Like one of their big things they spend a lot of time on is the Switch 2 edition of Mario Party Jamboree, and it's not even coming out on day one.
Good.
I put Metroid Prime 4 should have been a free upgrade as well, but it's not the situation. So I don't know when that game's coming out. I don't think they've said.
I don't think they've said, have they? Yeah.
No, it's definitely not a launch title. And so it's a situation where it's like, you know, if you buy Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch 1 this year, and then let's say you get a Switch 2, you know, for Christmas, like you're going to fork over extra money to get that game. I think that anything coming out like in the first like couple years of
it's going to be, because that's how they're going to do cross gen or whatever. Basically, it's like, we have games on both systems, but like if you want to have the cool version of it, you're gonna have to kick up $10.
Yeah, and I think that they should, like, again, I think just for like just as a cool consumer like friendly thing, it should just be like, hey, for this like these first couple launch years, like if you bought like a Switch 1 game and there's a Switch 2 upgrade to it, you get that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But no, fuck you. That's not the world we live in.
Yeah.
They showed the upcoming Pokemon running on the Switch 2, and it kind of, I really feel that what they showed on that Direct last week with the Pokemon game and the Metroid Prime game, man, I really feel they're trying to pull some shit there. I think that they were showing Switch 2 footage in that Direct.
Oh, probably.
I don't think either of those games are going to run that well on the Switch 1.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon beepity 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 beepity.
It looks great.
They also introduced new Mega Evolutions. Mega Evolutions. They're bringing back.
It's like a full on remake of Y and Z or X and Y, right? But like, with a bunch of new features.
So it was X, Y, and Z, and Z was the third, not game, but like legendary. There was X. There was like.
Oh, I didn't know that they released the Z. I thought this was the Z.
No. Like Z is the implied Z. There has been a rumor of a Pokemon Z as like a prank thing for a while because the implied there is a legendary that is an implied X, Y, Z, and it's the snake, and that's the thing. So the thing on the front of the game, the X, whatever it is, that's an extant character already. That's not a new character. That's a play off of another legendary. And they announced new Mega Evolutions, of the XY starters and a bunch of other starters and a bunch of other Pokemon. They look. I haven't seen them, but like they sound awesome. They sound incredible.
This game looks awesome. That was the last Pokemon game that I played was Y. And this it looks gorgeous. Like don't get me wrong. Like a lot of the games, like not a lot, like everything that was running on the Switch 2 that they showed looked incredible. Yeah. Like just straight up. Like I am impressed with this hardware.
Let's talk about the mouse. When do we talk about the mouse?
Haven't gotten there yet. Wait,
actually,
hold on.
What?
No, I think I skipped over it.
Oh, you skipped over the mouse?
I think so. Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, I was gonna ask if we could take a short break or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I was just looking at time. I was like, I could use a refresh. I don't know about everybody else. See, there we go.
Okay.
All right.
Be right back, everyone.
All right.
And now, Video Game Masterpiece Theater, with your host, Thaddeus Wimpleshire.
Good evening. I am Thaddeus Wimpleshire. Tonight, we have something very special for this auspicious occasion. What I present to you now is not a scene from an actual video game, but the influential tech demo that gave rise to the critically acclaimed title, Heavy Rain. This scene stars yours truly as the director, and the always impactful acting prowess of Morgan in the role of Mary Smith. Now, without further ado, here is the casting. Go ahead, take a seat. Can you give me your name and your age, please? My name is Mary Smith. I'm 24. Have you ever taken any acting lessons, Mary? Not really. I couldn't afford it. But I watch a lot of films, and I learn so much by watching them. Have you shot anything recently? I've had a few bit parts here and there. Nothing very serious for the moment. I'm always too tall, too short, wrong hair. There's always something wrong with me. Okay. Have you learned your lines? Yes. Let's get started. Mark it, please. Casting Heavy Rain, actress Mary Smith, take one. And action! The first time I saw you, I knew you were the one. I thought these things only happened in the movies, you know? Pounding heart, the sweating hands, and the shaky legs. I was coming out of the theater, and all of a sudden it started pouring heavy rain. So there I am, soaking wet, teeth chattering, freezing cold, and then you came up to me. You looked at me straight in the eyes, and then you said, "Need an umbrella, miss?" You sent me flowers for weeks and said you'd love me forever. 3 months later, we were getting married. God, it sounds so stupid. What a corny romance. But real life is never how you think it's gonna be. You think it's gonna be one big happy fairy tale. And then one day you wake up in your average little house
with your average little life, and your real dreams are about paying your bills and maybe someday getting a bigger TV. 'Cause you realize that wasn't the life you were dreaming of. You realize that maybe things could have been different, and maybe one day I could have learned to live with all of that, but then one day it all just stops. It starts with something small, a little lipstick on your collar, a few nights where you come home a bit late. At first I tell myself that I'm crazy, that you would never do such a thing. But just to ease my mind, I follow you as you leave the office. I follow you to the seedy hotel where you meet the girl. And then my whole world falls apart. I come home and I cry for hours in my kitchen. I get the gun from the drawer in the bedroom, and I tell myself that if this is all that life has to offer me, then I can do without. But then I change my mind. After all, I'm not the one who's cheating. So, quietly, I wait for you to come home, sitting in my average little kitchen. Obviously, when you get home, you don't suspect a thing, so I press the fucking gun against your forehead, and I take a few seconds to watch the fear grow in your eyes. You tell yourself, she won't do it. She doesn't have the guts. She's just trying to teach me a lesson. But you are so wrong, honey. I sentence you to death for turning my life into a soap opera cliché, for stepping on my dreams, for not giving a shit about me all those years, and for lying to me, betraying me, and humiliating me. I'm making an example out of you for all those assholes out there who think they can keep on fucking us over and over. Goodbye, my love. So how was it?
Very nice. Very nice.
You think I might stand a chance?
Someone will get in touch with you and let you know. She wasn't bad, right? Doesn't matter. She's too tall for the part. Next!
This has been another installment of Video Game Masterpiece Theater with your host, Thaddeus Whippleshire.
I think we're alone now. Are we? I never know if he knows I put these secret little ones in here. Now that we're alone, we can really chat. The thing is, if you were going to bring something... No, that's actually interesting, and I could say it to them. I was going to say, if you're going to bring anything back that's unnecessary, putting saves on memory cards, right? Like, people would love that. No, usually people say stupider things in this segment. Listen, have you ever had frozen chicken fingers? Not like dinosaur chicken nuggets. Like, they make proper frozen chicken fingers. They're basically just as good as regular chicken fingers. It's pretty shocking. I went through a phase in my life where I really wanted to replicate deep frying in my house. I got good at making French fries. There's a limit. There's a limit to what you can really do. It's a dangerous path. It's a dangerous path you can walk. You must tread it carefully. You can get really into wanting to be better at frying, and then it becomes your life. I warn you against it. I caution you. I would caution you against it. Where did these two go on their little break? Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Should we scroll TikTok together? NWP? Stage select? Oh, he's gonna kill me. Let's scroll TikTok together. These guys are the biggest buffet in America. They don't really show a lot of food. There's a dude sealing up a door. You seal that door, bro. He's like scraping off. He's sanding stuff. Oh, this is someone's little AI thing. It's a kid. Someone's playing with a fish. Whoa. There's a car made of Legos. A minivan made of Legos. What is it? Yo. It's a Nissan minivan made of Legos. Anyway, these two are taking a long time on their break. I'm not going to go through TikTok with you guys. What do you really want to talk about? I'm taking your calls. The lines are open. Go ahead, caller. Caller. He won't. He doesn't have the guts. He won't put it in. I know he won't. Not after I called an NWP, by the way. Legitimately, I'm having to restrain from entertaining you people.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Listen, Julian, do you know that I record now that we can really chats?
Do what?
I mean, I'll get there when I get there.
But do you know I've done it in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's been in the show before.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just asking. I might have forgotten.
I mean, like, I hear it in editing. It's like
I don't know. Maybe you skip past it. Like, this is the bullshit where we're getting ready to go back on.
No, if I see stuff on the waveform, I'm like, oh, what was that? And then
that's what I figure. Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No, I know what I'm about. I've been doing this a bit.
Mouse.
Yes, I did. Thank you. I did skip over something in my notes because they did do a big segment about the mouse functionality on the Joy-Cons.
I know nothing about the mouse. I tried to watch as much of this coverage as I could. It was boring. And so I watched stuff on TikTok. I watched specifically, me and my significant other sat down and watched all the Mario stuff all together because we love Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Then I just skimmed, read stupid comments. All I know is it's a mouse. Tell me more.
They're both mice, actually. Both Joy-Cons can be used as twin mouse controls or independently of one another. I think it's a stupid, fucking gimmicky ass idea.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant idea. You couldn't be more wrong. Show me what stuff did they do? What did they show for the mouse?
Well, they showed a new game called Dragon Drive, and I put in my notes, it took them half an hour to get to an actual like new thing. And when I say new, I mean like either new IP or like something that we hadn't seen before.
Right.
You know, like it took this long to get there. It is a 3-on-3 basketball game where all of the characters are in wheelchairs, but they're robots, it looks like.
Oh, they could have done backyard sports.
They could have done a lot of things, Mike. They could have done a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think the concept of the game is cool. I think the look of the game is so uncharacteristically bland. It does not look like a Nintendo-made game. It looks so boring.
What's it called?
Like Drag X Drive.
Guys, guess what? There's some new features of Microsoft Edge. The day I give a fuck about whether there's new fucking features on Microsoft Edge, I don't know what medication. Get help. God, who could give a shit about the? Am I the only one that gets fucking annoyed by that?
I never get any notifications.
I get irate by anything where my browser is like, there's something new with your browser.
Wait, why are you using Microsoft Edge?
I use Microsoft Edge. Back off.
Huh. I like how Mike is the one guy who felt bad enough to not install a different browser. That's great.
Yeah.
Microsoft Edge works. That's all I'm going to say.
It does work. I'm sure it does.
It works. That's my life at this point.
I mean, Microsoft beg you to please give Edge a chance. You know, just give it, just please.
Are you binging this too?
Yeah, I'm binging it. Because that's the default browser on fucking Microsoft Edge. I don't search much shit on Bing. I usually search Google. But I'm doing it right now. This looks rad. You're so wrong.
Oh, I disagree.
I'm saying
Mike.
I'm saying
I-
aesthetically it looks boring as shit.
yeah,
So,
I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, there's like it's a big empty it's like Rocket League but empty.
Yeah, everybody's like kind of uniform color. Like when
Yeah.
they do the dunk, there's like no real fanfare to it. I think the concept of the game is cool,
It
and the way
seems
that
like
you
a
play
neat
it,
idea.
since you're in a wheelchair, like you're actually running like both of the Joy-Cons in mouse mode as if you were like running in a wheelchair. It's a cool
That's a neat
idea.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that like, you know, it's just it doesn't look like
There's
a
no
Nintendo
there's no
game.
flair to it. Yeah.
I mean,
There's
can
no
I
flair.
can I say something about the aesthetics? Because I do want to say something about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of it because, and I will use an expression that I use as a shorthand when I talk about movies a lot, which is what movie with knights and swords and armor, which is to say, sometimes there are movies that people assume there's tons of, or things in a genre that people assume there are tons of. Movies with knights and swords and armor is one of them. Like, there's actually not that many movies.
There's
like,
not.
Yeah.
So it's so weird. Like, we were like, oh yeah, it's just like a typical movie with knights and armor. It's like, that sounds awesome. There are none. And so it's the same with movies with wizards and wands. Like, wizards don't use wands that much in movies. It's odd.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's almost like everyone's like, oh, we're so sick of all those wand movies. It's like, which?
Yeah.
Which one? The two?
Well, there were like 8 of them in the same series, so I think that's probably what they're talking about.
It doesn't matter. Before then, after then, it doesn't matter. Everybody got it. Everybody got it with the knights one, and some people are going to get it with the wand one. My people know what's up now. This aesthetic they're going for definitely is, and
Gray?
a late 90s,
Very
early
gray.
2000s thing that was around. Like, there were these like sort of like robotic-y looking, like slick sort of characters that were like, you know, I'm trying to think of examples, like sort of like Jet Force Gemini is an example, like I think a little bit, but like there was this aesthetic of like sleek, really sleek, cool robot. I mean, the Toonami robot, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure, yeah.
This aesthetic was very prevalent at the time. But the problem was that no one did it very well, even slightly at all. And to me, what I like about this aesthetic is like, now that we have the technology to actually do this cool, to make everyone look like a high-tech sneaker, I mean, I think it looks really cool. I'm really into the aesthetic.
I'm just saying, let's throw some Fire Engine Red in there, and let's have some fireworks go off. Let's have that ball catch on fire, like when you
It
dunk
looks like it lacks what they call in the games industry juice.
Yes, but let me pitch
It doesn't
you.
have Riz.
Yeah.
It needs to Aura Max some more.
Can I answer a question? Why add Riz? This is clearly a game about, like, I don't know, some amount
Robots
of
that play basketball.
robotage. Well, I mean, it's gimmicky. It's meant to be fun to do. It's meant to be visual. If this is meant to be for kids, if this is
Mike,
meant to be a big experience for kids,
Mike,
why do we need to ply kids with all of these
Mike,
flashy graphics and stuff? And like, I also think
we've
that,
been spoiling these kids with these graphics this whole time. I
but
mean,
why not
Jesus.
give kids an option that it's like a game that's like more
Mike.
fun physically than it is visually coming at them?
I
also think
my
it
immediate
looks-
impression of it was, wow, this looks like a Steam asset flip.
It does look like it
That's
does look
what
like
it
a
looks
Steam
like.
asset flip.
Yeah.
No, it does.
Yeah.
It does. I'm
That's not
100% there with you.
compliment.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's uncharacteristically Nintendo. Like, it does not.
Yeah,
It doesn't fit with any
yeah.
of like their stuff. Which, I mean, I guess there's something to that.
There's something to that, I guess.
It's unique. It's new. Yes, it's not with their whatever style, but this is a new place for them. I really like the aesthetic. I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool idea for a game. I'm very
It's a
into
cool
the
idea
entire
for a
thing.
game. I'll say that.
It's a cool use of a mouse. Like, that's really awesome. That's like a huge thing. Like, just like that you're doing like this weird interactivity thing. I think the mouse is crazy. What are your guys' thoughts on the mouse?
I think it's dumb. I think but to be fair, I think there are some really cool implementations of it. It works better. Like, it doesn't work the way that I thought it would. So because I did see like, to their credit, they already did like the first like huge like event where people could like get their hands on the Switch
Yeah.
too. So there's tons of gameplay and impressions out there now, which is neat. So I did see IGN where they were talking about like using the mouse feature, and they talked about with Metroid Prime 4, which is a first-person shooter, right?
Yeah.
And I was expecting that like, oh, you've got to like pause the game, go into the options, like set it to mouse mode, and then maybe even restart the game. But no, like you can be playing with like your controllers, like the Joy-Cons in either hand, and then put the right Joy-Con down into mouse mode, and it automatically converts to the reticle, and then you're
That's cool.
aiming
Yeah.
and shooting. That's neat.
So, but that changes the game. That's a console that is a crazy idea here that you're now going to have mouse accessibility on like console games, like first person shooters. That alone, you're not like, okay, wow, like what is a PC first person shooter? What's I mean, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't.
Mike, how long have you listened to me? The person who grew up on consoles and hates playing games on PC, and like, you know, did not finish Doom Eternal because I was like, oh, this is designed for like mouse and keyboard. Like this does not work on a controller.
So now it will be
but
mouse
I'm not
and
gonna.
keyboard.
But I can't play games with mouse and keyboard. Like I don't have that skill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're moving into a new universe. I just think that's to me, first of all, I think now looking at it with the mouse and the camera and everything, like this is going to be fully realized. Another thing that was pitched to my generation, which is like the kiddie computer. I mean, you have a mouse, you have a camera, you have the ability to talk with friends, like slap a keyboard on there. A kid could use that as their computer for like until they were like 11.
Take that, Tiger Electronics.
12.
That's literally what I've been avoiding with video games my entire life. Like, I love video game consoles. Like, you know, the reason I'm playing more PC games right now is because I bought a Steam Deck that feels like a video game console.
But it's Nintendo. So maybe Nintendo is going to consoleify the PC in a way that people haven't before.
God, I hope not.
I mean, maybe that's what happens.
That's fine.
That would be interesting.
But I'm just saying, I don't care. Like, I have no interest in playing anything with like mouse control. You know, I mean, they showed like Civ 7, which also impressive that Civ 7 is running on a Switch 2. Didn't expect that.
Yeah,
that would run better with a mouse. Like, that's one of the few things where it's like, okay, this is designed around a mouse. But I also don't play those games.
Yeah. They aren't Julian games, but they are Justin games. So that actually sounds kind of cool to me. Like that absolutely. There are certain things where like, I don't want to like The Sims, for example. I don't want to play The Sims with a fucking controller. That sounds insane.
And I always want to play it on like a Switch or something like that.
Yeah, that would
portable.
be a kind of a cool thing to have on the go, I guess, if you're gonna go that route. Like,
sorry, go ahead, Justin.
Oh no, that's it.
And you know they're gonna make like real mouses once people stop.
Sure.
You know, once they get the idea of like, you know, we want people to see it as a controller that can kind of do a mouse. Then of course we're gonna make dope mouses.
I suppose.
Why would you do that?
What do you mean? Why would you do that?
That's an even dumber idea. Like,
you want to use this stupid thing as your mouse
because it's already there in your hand. Like, that's the concept of it that works for me. Where it's like I've got like if you're one of those like bizarre people that plays your Switch with like you're just free balling the Joy-Cons in either hand when they're not like in the grip thing, and you're not playing with a pro controller, then like I think it's already in your hand, and then it's like, you know what, I feel like going into mouse mode right now. It's like bam, right? That's cool. But if you're telling me that like, because they've done mouse adapters since like the PlayStation, they've done since the fucking Super Nintendo. What am I talking about? That never works. Like, you know, it's like yet another peripheral that you have to haul out for certain specific things.
That is
no. Imagine you just get better Joy-Cons because it's magnetic, right? You don't need to make this crazy form factor. You have Joy-Cons that are just like bigger things that are better for being mouse. You snap them onto the side. You're like, whatever. And then you can pull it off. And now you have a better mouse.
I thought you were talking about just like a mouse ass mouse.
Oh, who cares about that? I'm saying you have
a better
version of exactly, because it's all magnetic.
The only problem is that the bigger you go, the harder it becomes to like lug around. But that's its own battle, I guess.
I don't care about that as much.
I don't really.
I'm probably
either,
not going to be playing mouse
will.
play on the go either.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like mouse play on the go seems like would be problematic. Like that
No, man,
seems like it'd be a whole thing.
I would play point and click adventures way more. I would play point and click adventure like Sims games like that. If I'm hoping what it turns into is a consolification of PC gaming experience. I hope that I can basically have everything that this is going to transform into everything from a Nintendo DS to a Wii U to a fucking, regular like Xbox type thing, and then into a PC, and then I can have a keyboard, and so I can modulate this thing into any type of gaming experience.
It
I
also
want.
can
That's really exciting. To
make
me.
the porting of some more, like, I guess, obscure things a little bit easier. Now I don't have to basically put console controls in there. I can just go, okay, yeah, no, you just have to play it.
Oh man, you just illustrated like a terrible future for me, where like the cursor like makes its way into more and more games that I want to play, and that's just like, and there's no way to like, I have to use that because because the Switch is going to become the lead.
Oh, probably.
God. Oh man,
like there's a huge history of PC games that are like great for a child audience now. That like, I mean, all those like pet games and stuff, like those point and click pet games and I
don't care about your kids,
but
I'm talking about my opinion for me.
How about you and your Purn? You enjoy your Purn games, don't you, Julian?
Yeah, they're not going to put that on Switch.
Purn games?
Yeah, they're not putting that on a Switch.
Oh, says you.
They're not.
They're not
like,
going to
put them.
They'll ride the line.
You know what works really well for playing my porn games is my Steam Deck with the built-in trackpad. That works real well for like point and click games.
I hope that this does affect Steam Decks, though, is what I'm saying. I hope, because that's basically the Steam Deck. Definitely.
Here's the long and the short of it, right? Like this is a neat thing. We'll see if it catches on, though, because Nintendo consoles often have like one or two gimmicks where it's just like, yeah, and then nobody kind of used it because at the end of the day,
that, and like, so what I put about drag and drive is like, miss me with that motion control shit, and like, there's so much more of it in this presentation. Like
they love
the Mario
Party
Party stuff. Like it's
don't
like,
want 'em.
Why are we still here? God damn it, we're just gonna stay here forever, aren't we?
Yeah,
and
apparently.
I'm so over it.
Yeah, hate them.
They did show a bunch of third-party games. I didn't like list them out or anything. All my note was just like, "Hey, look, a bunch of third-party games that don't run like crap. Like this is amazing."
Was Silk Song shown a little bit?
Not here. No, not yet.
Not here.
Yet.
Okay,
we'll get there later.
Okay,
no. This was stuff from like the last 5 years, including like current stuff where it's like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I didn't expect that Switch 2 could run this.
Right.
And it looks great. Right.
Okay, cool.
Some of it was, I know I mentioned IO Interactive because they show like the Hitman Assassin.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or the Hitman trilogy.
That'd be fun.
They announced Yakuza 0 director's cut.
Why not?
Elden Ring was a huge one,
That's
right?
big. That's big.
And all looking great and running great. And it's like, wow, these look like the PS5 versions. This is really impressive. Kudos. I didn't expect it to be able to do that. I straight up did not.
I did not either. So that's cool.
And then this is where IO also teased like it's the first time they officially teased their James Bond game.
Gotcha.
And all it was just like the typical like sight and the song, and I was like,
barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know it. That's why I'm as a James Bond fan.
Okay.
A lot of people think it's the sight. It's the barrel of a gun.
Okay. And I was like, oh, we're never, this game isn't coming for years, is it? Because like that, like it was like, I think like 4 years ago that they announced that like they're working on a James Bond game, and this is the only thing they've shown. And all it was it wasn't even a logo. It wasn't even a logo, guys. It was just like Project 007. I was like, oh no.
Oh, they didn't know the name yet.
I'm as a James Bond fan, I'm like, that's rad.
No, it is. I really want to see what they do with James Bond.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting for 4 years now for like a trailer.
Well, they're not going to stink it into the stupid Switches thing. You know what I mean? We're making a James Bond.
This was the time to show, we're showing brand new shit. And that's one of my big complaints about this thing is like, so if you only own a Switch, right? This was an incredible showcase.
Yeah.
Because like, look at all of these games that I can play, right? But if you own a Switch and any other console, it's like, man, everything here is like 5 years old. And it's like, and so I'm usually not like a launch day or launch window console adopter. I did with the PS4 mainly because the 360 generation had gone on so long and I was past ready.
Yeah.
And then I did with the PS5 simply because that was like that was very much like COVID, and it was also it was also like the system looked super impressive to me, and they also started that presentation with Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, shit. Well, I got to get that now because I have to be ready for when that game launches, no matter when that is.
Yeah.
But if that original PS5 presentation had been, look at this Gran Turismo, and then look at all of these PS4 games from the last 5 years, I'd be like, get fucked. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, can I do want to share my perspective, because I basically that's Nintendo's like the only really thing I buy, and like in the past years, like basically that is handhelds. Right? Like they're just handhelds. It's been the way since the 3DS. That's the 3DS was the newest system, and then basically that was it till the Switch. Because there was the new 3DS that came out way after the Wii U. But like I disagree. I just disagree with the perspective because I just buy a Switch. So like for me, it's been awesome when I have the Switch. To be able to
literally
be like,
just said if you
no,
if
I
you
know,
only
I
play
know,
the Switch,
I know.
You're golden.
So I'm adding to it. So like I'm saying you're spot on. I disagree. It's like it's awesome for me. Like it's rad. And now I get to
You're
play.
not disagreeing. You're agreeing with him.
I know. I'm agreeing with.
But you keep saying, "But I disagree."
No, I'm not trying to say I disagree.
Mike.
I'm agreeing with him. I'm trying to present the other side. Anyway, can I just talk about the most boring little detail I wanted to add?
Sure, why not?
That kicks ass for me to see that stuff. Like it does seem like it's actually going to play real fucking games.
Yes,
like, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Like one of the big things to me, and it's not big for me. It's big for Nintendo, and it's big for the industry. Is like fucking EA Sports games and like 2K Sports games coming on this system. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. Like that hasn't happened in so long. Like the only thing that was really missing was Call of Duty.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't have Call of Duty shown on here, because that would have been like, like there hasn't been a Call of Duty on a Nintendo thing in a really, really, really long time, guys.
Right.
And the stuff that was on the Wii was like pretty shit, but like the Wii was so hot that they just tried to cram it in there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I like that's really cool for like the industry as a whole. I think it's really good for Switch owners because like, I've complained about this before. Like people like the Switch brought back the day of like the shoddy port. Like we had so many years where it was just like, for the most part, if you bought a game like on a different system, you were going to get a pretty good experience. There were a handful of PS3 games that didn't get ported very well, but for the most part, you were getting parity on different consoles. And then the Switch comes out and it's like, whoa, look at Witcher 3. Look, everybody looks like a potato. Like, look at Mortal Kombat. Like this looks like straight garbage, and people are eating it up. 100%. And it's like, but they're like, you could have so much better if Nintendo would just like, just get into like the current generation, and they're here. Like again, I can't understate how impressed I am that like they're in current gen. Like I expected them to still be in last gen with this system, but they're not. Right, and that's amazing. Like kudos. I'm legit impressed. Joseph Ferris came out to show that Split Fiction is on the Switch. The only note that I have is shut up, Joseph.
That's accurate. Yeah.
They showed off a new Hyrule Warriors game, which
that's
they
like, did.
It's the sequel to what was it? Age of Calamity or whatever. It's like another Tears of the Kingdom tie-in.
Sure.
But like those games are popular, and but they've been shackled to not great hardware like ever since the first Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U. So this will be cool because and it's also like a new game, which is nice because there weren't a lot of that here.
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors slaps. I've been on record.
Yeah,
it absolutely slaps.
Yeah.
A lot when they do like the franchise stuff, like outside of Dynasty Warriors, they always seem to like go the extra mile on those, and they always look and seem more interesting than like their actual main franchises.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, no, I think it's very cool, and I bet it's gonna like look and run great on the Switch too, like the way that those games deserve to. So
now, if you give me a Hyrule Warriors game, any type of game like that, you give me a Dynasty Warriors game, and you don't have that flash and pop, unsubscribe.
Oh, you mean like the flashiness?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. There.
Mm.
It's all flourish.
And, you know, this is just more of an aside. Like, if you're the type of person, I don't think our listeners are this type of person, but if you're the type of person who just likes is constantly like shitting on the PlayStation 5 because like, oh, it doesn't have a lot of exclusives, but you're like over the moon for like the Switch 2 stuff that they've shown so far, shut the fuck up. Because there's so like there's like nothing, there's really like almost nothing that's like exclusive for this thing, and a lot of it is like, you know, oh, it's the greatest hits of like, you know, the last like 5 to 6 years of video games like available on your new console, and that's all I have to say about that.
I wonder if have they said that they're gonna do another like presentation before like the actual launch to like show.
So there's a Mario Kart World Direct that's coming very soon.
Okay.
There's a special, I don't know if it's a presentation or if it's just an interview with Miyazaki for that thing, which we'll talk about later, because that's like arguably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But no, this is it. Like, you know, it launches June 5th. So that is earlier than I expected. I was thinking September.
That is early, yeah. Okay.
Is that the launch or the pre-orders, Julian?
That's the launch.
That's the launch.
Pre-orders were supposed to be April 9th.
Uh-huh.
But the news that came out today is that pre-orders in the United States are being delayed due to all of the volatility around the tariffs, because the price might be going up. And we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they didn't actually announce the price in the presentation. So I'm going to save that till we're through the presentation. They announced that Deltarune chapters 1 through 4 are coming on launch day, and all I put was Undertale fans are about to get uppity again, and I'm so tired.
Yeah.
They're some of the worst fans of like anything, and like I kind of just want to leave the internet like when that comes out.
What's their vibe? I just kind of know Undertale people really like to dig into it. What's their
obsessed and super aggressive.
Okay.
It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, really.
Interesting.
It's worse than Kingdom Hearts.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. It's up there. They're pretty close to me.
But are they aggressive towards each other as well?
They're aggressive towards everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, don't talk shit about Undertale.
Yeah, don't.
I have nothing bad to say about the game. It seems really cool.
I don't either.
So cool, in fact, Undertale fans. I didn't know this about them. I just that has not.
They get
so
hyped.
Now who's really talking bad about Undertale fans?
I am.
Julian. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
They're
the worst type of fans. Randy Pitchford came out to talk about Borderlands, and all I put was in all caps, "Shut up, Randy."
He didn't have the other Randy wasn't there this time.
No,
he didn't run the bit again.
It was just Randy Prime.
Did Randy do any magic?
No, but he looked the most like a magician that he's ever looked.
God damn it! And not one fucking magic trick. What are we doing?
What does Borderlands have to do with Nintendo?
He's probably putting.
They showed Borderlands 4 is coming to the Switch 2, which again, impressive. That's like that is a game coming out this year for current gen stuff. Yeah. Square came out and announced that Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is coming, and my note is just, what did Xbox do to Square Enix? There's no 7 remake for them.
They just get shit on. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
So here is where they did like a pretty big sizzle reel of third-party stuff coming to the Switch, both on launch day and in the year. And there's a lot of there was new stuff in here, like there's indie stuff in here. There was known quantity stuff, and then there was Silk Song coming 2025, and it's like a blink and you miss it thing on the screen, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck did you just like? And again, I don't know if it's a case of them just like being haha, like we put it in there, but like fuck you, or if it's like we have no idea how massive this is. Because to me, that's you damn near could have ended the presentation on that,
probably
with like a 5-minute thing that if it's coming this year, then there's probably enough footage of it that they could make a presentation out of it, even if they don't have the developers come out. Wild.
Yeah.
That like they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Start from the beginning, guys. What's Silksong?
I was just gonna say,
I love
Mike,
you, Mike.
Mike, you ever played Hollow Knight?
No, but I
Okay.
mean, not extensively. I've probably put hands on it.
Okay. I was
So
gonna say,
Hollow Knight was a kickstarted game
Yeah.
that had a very successful Kickstarter. Game came out. People loved the game.
Yeah.
I have no interest in playing it whatsoever. That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying my piece because I don't give a shit about any of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm kind of on the outskirts of everything. I don't care either. So
But one of the big stretch goals for Hollow Knight, which they easily met, was there is going to be this expansion to the game that would come out after the game came out as DLC. I don't remember what that was supposed to be called originally, but that expansion became a victim of feature creep and, developer that kind of doesn't have to answer to anybody, as far as like meeting milestones or anything like that. And it just kept going and going and going. And eventually they did, I think it was like a lot of radio silence. And they finally said, hey, it's not going to be an expansion to Hollow Knight anymore. It's a sequel, and it's called Silksong. It's not even, doesn't even have Hollow Knight in the name. It's just Silksong.
Okay.
And then nothing, and a lot of radio silence. And I think that's been the big thing. And I find it very interesting. So the fans of Hollow Knight and Silksong are also like very
into it. Yeah.
Very into it and very aggressive. And so anytime that there is any presentation with any of the companies, you get the like, are they going to show Silksong? Are they going to show Silksong? Is it going to be Silksong? And I find it very interesting that every time that Silksong is not shown, it is the people who hosted the presentation that get all of the shit. So they're like, God damn you, Sony, you didn't show Silksong. Fuck you, Nintendo. Like, where's Silksong? Give us Silksong. And it's like, somehow the developer who's not communicating anything to their fans is like unscathed. And I find it fascinating because poor old Dark Cookie over here making Summertime Saga is constantly getting shit on by people because this game is taking so long, like in this current phase of development. And it's like, but somehow the Silksong developer is like, just like, fine, like nobody's pissed with the developer. No, it's the publisher's fault for not including it in their presentation. And so now it finally gets shown after all of these years, and apparently it's coming in this calendar year. And Nintendo's just like, there you go, and like it's in a sizzle reel. It's bonkers.
That's crazy.
Could not believe it.
It's wild. But anyway, Mike, I actually feel like you might like, if for some reason, Hollow Knight seems like a game you would get into.
It does.
From what I played, it's like sort of semi brutal to brutal platforming, right? Yeah. I know I've downloaded it at some point.
I could be way
Game
off.
Pass or otherwise,
it's one of those games that I don't really care super hard at all about, really. But it's like Metroidvania kind of search action-y, and lots of like
really
hidden,
tough.
really difficult. Lots of like hidden stuff around to figure out. So definitely seems like a Mike Fallek game. That's
well, then Silksong will be too, and I'm really happy they announced it.
Yeah,
waiting for so long. You guys don't know what it was like waiting for the 30 seconds between when Julian said Silksong and when I found out it was being announced. And what it was. It was crazy. I've been waiting for this for moments.
And then they announced that they had one last game from like their partners, third party. And it's a FromSoft exclusive to Switch 2, which in the presentation was a big fucking deal. And I was like, holy shit, that's a console seller right there. As if the system wasn't already going to sell gangbusters anyway. It's Bloodborne 2 in all but name.
Yeah.
At least that's what it looks like in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like it's the same, it's a similar setting. It's more vampiric now.
Yeah.
But like it looks fucking rad. Like I was impressed because I was like, that looks like like an Elden Ring world. Like it looks open world. And I did not expect them to crank something out of that magnitude that quickly after Elden Ring.
Right.
And being like a totally new IP, right? Exclusive to Switch 2. I don't know if it's a timed exclusive or it's going to be like Bloodborne 1 where it's tied to the system.
Hard to say.
But then, like after the presentation, it came out that it's a lot like Elden Ring Night Rain, where it's like a 8-player like multiplayer thing. It's PvPvE. and I'm
okay.
oh, never mind. I don't care. It looks rad.
Yeah,
and
That sucks a little bit.
it's a FromSoft game.
Same page, man. That's I rode that wave with you. You told that story beautifully.
In my notes, I put so many masks, so much mumbling. And also the other thing I've noticed recently with FromSoft designs is they sure do love people with hands where like the pointer finger is the longest finger, and then they descend from there instead of like the index finger being the long finger. It's weird. So a lot of that going on. It's a FromSoft game.
It looks cool.
It looked really cool. I had seen shots of it. I had seen like the super, like the outfit and the fucking Victorian outfit and the blood sucking and that shot, and it looked awesome. It's pretty disappointing what you're talking about.
I watched the Nier subreddit go make every joke about one of the monsters looked like a meal, like the mask
very much did.
Yeah, they were like, it's a crossover, and it's like I was like, that's a good bit, I guess.
Yeah. And then they announced another like new Nintendo thing, which credit.
Sure.
It's Kirby Air Riders.
And God bless.
All I put was, why are you releasing a Kirby racing game alongside a Mario Kart? Why are you doing that?
Well, because
the big thing here is that it's directed by Sakurai, who's the director of Smash Brothers.
He wanted to make a racing game. Let him take a break, okay?
I just can't Julian, I can't disagree more, because it's a Kirby racing game. Because it's gonna be great.
Just put Kirby in the fucking Mario Kart game.
Well,
they're gonna make a mashup at some point. You got to bring Kirby back, man. Kirby has had a bad, Kirby is not getting the love he needs.
He was back last year.
I was going to say they made that. It was the year before. Was it last year or a year before?
I think it might have been the year before.
Yeah, year before.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like that.
It's like
game.
a hovercraft. It's definitely going to be like a hovercraft racing thing, right? Kirby.
I mean,
I love that.
But they also showed people on motorcycles. So
it's like
and
Diddy
there's
Kong
motorcycles
Racing.
in Mario Kart.
It's like Diddy Kong Racing.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and when Diddy Kong Racing came out, I was like, why did you make another Nintendo mascot racing game?
Julian,
because it's really good, and
there
for
was
fun,
airplanes
and for joy, and you play as monkeys. You ride around as monkeys.
Oh, my least
in
favorite
little
thing.
machines.
Cool. Oh, awesome. Fucking hate monkeys.
What about elephants?
I didn't see a elephant themed horror movie when I was 10 years old that scarred me for life, so I'm fine with elephants.
You'll have that, yeah.
Well, what was that?
Monkey Shines.
I've never seen that. There's an elephant in it?
No.
There's not an elephant in it.
There's a monkey.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I
since
thought
then
that
I've
you
hated.
Also had an issue with elephants.
No,
okay,
no,
now I'm on the same
you
page. I know. I'm on the same page.
You're clearly not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I thought it was like I have this fear of monkeys, and I also have a fear of elephants.
You're the one who brought up elephants.
I know. So there's elephants in Diddy Kong. You don't have to be a monkey.
Okay, but I just went on with my life not ever playing it.
It's a great game. It's a great game, and now Kirby has taken the throne.
I mean, probably not, because it didn't take the throne back on the GameCube when the first game came out.
Yeah.
It kind of just came and went.
That's true.
I don't think anybody's going to beat B2.
Didn't
sorry.
do that.
One big thing that I glossed over, I forgot.
Jet ski games never work either.
I mean, I'm pretty
People
partial
like
to
that wave race, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's just as old as Diddy Kong Racing.
Sure. They did announce that GameCube is coming to the the online Nintendo expansion pass, which, I'm kind of surprised. I assumed that they would just want to resell those games to you as remasters.
That was their big Fire Emblem announcement. Now you don't have to pay however many thousands of dollars to play. What is it, Path of Radiance or whatever? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And that's cool.
That's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they do Eternal Darkness, that'll be a huge thing, because that's one of those.
I'm surprised they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that they know what they have there.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I bet they see it as dated, and that's why they don't want to do it, but it's super neat.
And they ended the presentation with their last game, and I got very excited right away, because I thought, oh, this might be either a new IP or maybe the next Mario game or something
That's
like
what
that.
I would have figured, yeah.
Instantly disappointed when I saw the first monkey, and I was like, fuck, man, it's a Donkey Kong game.
Of course it is.
but it looks incredible.
Nice.
Like this is the game that I think should be like the. I mean, I know Mario Kart is like a big thing for the masses. To me, this is like the crown jewel, but it's not even a launch game. Like it's coming out like a month and some, like after, and I'm like, that's okay, that's weird. But the game looks incredible. Like the redesign of Donkey Kong is excellent, in my opinion. He's got it looks like it's open world and like shit ton of like terrain destruction that he can do. As I try to always say when I bring up Nintendo stuff, I am no longer like a Nintendo fan. Like the games that they're making typically are just not what I'm looking for with video games in this day and age. But I will never take anything away from like their game design. Right? They don't make bad games. Like I can't think of like a bad Nintendo made game. There's some that are just like kind of so. Yeah. But there's nothing that I think is like poor quality.
Yeah, there's nothing like that you look at it and you go, "Wow, this is a piece of shit." Like
there's some to be honest, there's some dog shit on the DS and 3DS.
Made by Nintendo?
Yeah, there's some dog shit.
Okay.
There's some dog shit on there.
I haven't seen it. Are you talking about dogs because there's shit in the game Dogs from Dogs?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Both.
No, but this is called Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think it looks amazing. Like I think it's like it's got that type of innovation that like when I was playing Astrobot last year, I was like, man, like this feels like peak Nintendo.
Right.
And then it's like, Nintendo's like, but we also still do that. And I was like, oh no, you still do.
Yeah.
Like if I was buying a Switch 2, like I would absolutely be playing this game.
Sure.
So I just was linking up stuff in my head. And I was like thinking about Mario, times when Mario games come out, like 3D Mario games and 3D Donkey Kong games come out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to like match them in my head. But that made me think like, I was like, oh yeah, like Odyssey was open world. Okay, so if Odyssey's open world and like now Mario Kart's open world, why aren't I just having like Mario Roblox, Mario GTA? Why isn't that the move? Why isn't it just like Mario open world everything? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's what the next Mario game is going to be, because I wouldn't call Odyssey an open world game. That's still a game with like they're large levels that are
large
very
exploratory levels, but it's not.
But Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like it's like a full-on huge connected thing where you're not loading in from level to level. It's like you're roaming from area to area, and there's things to do within those areas. And I think that's probably what the next Mario game is. And I was kind of hoping that would be here.
Let's have it all being, you just buy Donkey Kong, man, and then there's Diddy Kong Racing in there, and there's Donkey Kong whatever. Let's go
never
full
do that
Nintendo.
because
I want it.
Yeah, but they could also just sell you those separately for $80.
Yeah.
Sell them separately too, just like Roblox, baby. That's what GTA's doing. Roblox everything.
Which is, so after the presentation is when all of the pricing stuff came out.
Right.
So the console, like the base console is $449. It's $499 with Mario Kart as a pack-in. That's kind of like, honestly, I was expecting $499 just straight up. I find it interesting that people were like really balking at the price considering what they showed, because again, I'm like, no, this is like a PlayStation 5, but it's Nintendo, and you can still play it in handheld. Although I this one, 100%, if I bought this console, I would not play this in handheld because no, like because my whole thing is that like with the Switches, I think it's a bad handheld, but also when I plug it into my TV, it doesn't look nearly as good as like the other stuff that I play on my TV. Where here it's like, no, I would just like plug this into my TV and just leave it there and buy a Pro controller and never touch those Joy-Cons.
Right.
So to me, the price of the console is fine. The thing that was bonkers to me, and I think it's bonkers to everyone, it's definitely like kind of overtaken the conversation, is that Mario Kart World, like if you just buy the game separately, is $79.99.
Yes.
And like I said, also Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition is $79.99.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the other games are $70. And that's wild to me. And so there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. One of the things, so I thought it was a mistake, and I think this was like, when the PS5 came out. So, Sony was like, hey, like our games are $69.
Yes.
And people were kind of up in arms about that. And I was like, no, it's past time for games to, they've been $60 for a good long while now,
Yeah.
right? But it didn't happen across the board, even within Sony.
Right.
They were still releasing certain games at $59, and then for a long time, Xbox didn't raise their prices.
Right.
And so it became this weird thing where it was like, what is the general price for your your main line releases of stuff? And it was like, I don't know.
It's still kind of hard to tell sometimes.
It's still kind of hard to tell. And like, so, when the 360 came out, it was like, yo, games are $60
They
now.
were $60 every time. No, don't fucking worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, they weren't 60 on the Wii. Kind of the caveat there was like, but the Wii it's not an HD system, right? So it's like, you can kind of understand why those games haven't gone up. And PC games didn't go up for a pretty good long time.
Right.
But that was also still in an era where there wasn't a lot of parity between PC release and
No,
console
there
release.
was not. No.
Like it is today.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, if they're 70, they're 70. But I feel that like an $80 price point, it's like way too soon for that. And again, it's like especially when like even right out of the gate, it's like, but only this game, as far as like, new Switch 2 games. Zelda is another debacle. But it's like, but only this one. Everything else is like between 60 and 70. And it's like, what's going on?
Well, it has the Nintendo polish on it, Julian,
but they all have the Nintendo polish on it.
But this one especially.
Yeah, and I find Mario Kart to be at that price point to be extra weird because this game is going to have like a shit ton of DLC that comes out over time, where Donkey Kong is probably not.
No,
so it would make more sense to me to have Mario Kart at the lower price point. Donkey Kong's the higher one, but then you get into a situation, but it's like, but people will buy Mario Kart.
People will buy Mario Kart.
Can I ask this in a dumb way for you guys?
Sure.
But you asked it rhetorically, Julian, to be like, what's going on here? Like, what do you think is going on though? Like, that is weird. Do you find any logic to it?
The only logic I can think of is them testing the waters, but to me, it's like you either go in or you don't. Right.
Yeah.
Like jump in the pool or don't like don't put your tip. Like if you're saying that your games are $80, then make them $80. Right. And then maybe you have like some smaller games that are like 50, because there's always been that. There's always been games that are like, like lower budget games that come out at lower price points. That's been the way it's been. And then I'm like, well, is this like kind of proactive for like, with like trade war shit going on? They're trying to get ahead of that. But again, why aren't all of your games reflecting that? It's kind of a weird thing. I disagree with it. Now I should say, because I've said this in the past, and I realized this week that when I've said it in the past, I have neglected to go deeper on the thing. I maintain that video games now are still cheaper than they've been pretty much historically, right? With the exception of like PS1 era.
Sure.
And a lot of people this week have been bringing up like, oh, look at these Super Nintendo prices from back in the day. Look at these Nintendo 64 prices. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But those prices were reflected because of the size of the chips, like the chipset in each cartridge, right? Because there would be certain games that just had more shit on the circuit board,
right,
that cost more money, right? So I remember like Super Metroid was one of those.
Yeah.
Phantasy Star 4 famously was like $100 at the time.
Right.
Some of those games were just more expensive because it was more expensive to produce them.
Right.
And in the early days of the PS1 coming out, those games were still like over $50. I remember that distinctly. But eventually, like as like producing CD games got cheaper, those games dropped to a $50 price point across the board. And it stayed that way for a really long time, right through the PS2, right up until like the 360 came out, like I said.
Yeah.
So there's caveats there, right? Especially when you're considering that like more and more people are buying stuff digitally.
Right.
So you're taking a lot of like the manufacturing costs out of the equation. Not all of it, obviously.
Not all of it, but
way more than you could in 1996.
You don't have that like having to find a print run and do a printer, or do all this you take out the middleman a lot of the time for a lot of that shit.
So again, I get that like, things go up over time, right? And video games had stayed pretty stagnant for a long time. But I felt that like going up to the 70 price point in 2020 was like, okay, I expected that. I'll eat that. But now that we're like just like a few years later, and we're it's like no 80, son. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, we just got there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just got to 70, and everybody and people
are still complaining about 70.
People still complain about 70, but it's kind of become a thing where it's like, yeah, that's just the price of a new game nowadays. It's not what we want, but it's fine, I guess. But still, like you said, still complaining about it. It's not fully integrated, you know?
Yeah.
And for them to just boldly go, no, 80, fuck it. We're Nintendo. Go fuck yourselves. And that's weird. That's bold. Bold.
Yeah.
I don't care for it. I think it's a really dumb move, personally. I think everything I have seen. So to be open, I didn't watch the presentation myself. I've gotten pretty much everything Julian's mentioned. I've seen, like, I've just read stories on for the most part.
Sure.
That's how I've been keeping up for the most part. But most of like just the general scuttlebutt has just been kind of negative about that, and mostly revolving around this thing.
Just the price. Yes.
Yeah.
So the overall console people were pretty high on. I will
sure.
Again, I was kind of surprised that people were complaining about the price of the console. Simply because of what they showed, right? Like what the console can do. I'm like, okay, no, that makes sense.
You're always going to have people that complain about certain things like that. But
obviously.
That's pretty negotiable, right?
The console price in the box seems really reasonable when you consider the idea that it is going to be like an Xbox Series, but with more versatility because it's a screen as well. Like,
yeah,
exactly.
sure.
That seems, if you were today to say we're making an Xbox, but it comes with a portable,
right?
People would not question the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that, like, you know, in the Stage Select Discord, right, like a few of the listeners were like just like over the moon for the entire presentation.
Sure.
I'm like, man, like the shit that they showed again, like because I know that they play everything, right? They have a lot of different consoles, and I'm like, I don't know why you're so excited about like all of this old shit. They didn't really show much that's new. And I get like Mario Kart is exciting for most people, and so that's fine. But like beyond that and Donkey Kong, it's like what there wasn't much there.
Mouses
Again, there wasn't much there.
There were mouses.
So, but I was surprised to see more negativity out there than I expected. I expected to once again be like the only person being like,
right,
man, like the actual like new stuff that they showed was like super disappointing other than Donkey Kong.
Sure.
But I also hate Donkey Kong. So there's like a huge caveat for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to ask if you ever played them. I've never beaten a Donkey Kong.
I played Donkey Kong Country back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I tried out Donkey Kong 64 and I was like, I have no interest in this. And then I haven't had interest since. Like, I don't think I've touched a Donkey Kong game since. Just
heard good things about what Tropical Freeze or whatever. People like.
I also heard good things
back.
about Tropical Freeze.
I take that back. I bought one for the Switch, and I thought it felt like shit to play.
Okay.
I remember I played a few levels, and I was like, this feels bad, and I'm surprised that people love this. Like, there was it felt like delayed input in a way that I did not expect from a Nintendo-made platformer.
Yeah.
Was Tropical Freeze the turn-based one?
No, there
was a turn-based
platformer.
One too, though, right?
I don't think there's
no turn-based Donkey Kong.
I think it was just an expansion for the Rabbids thing. Maybe I'm thinking of. I think that also had
there
a
might have been
name.
something like that. Yeah, I could see that.
I think that also had an ice name, or some storm name. What's Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze then?
It's it's like Donkey Kong Country, kind of like platformer. Yeah.
Okay.
Side scroller, I think.
But so let me put my conclusion. This again, I wrote this the night that I watched the presentation. Stuff has changed since then.
Sure.
I put super lackluster showing unless you only own a Switch and can finally play the third-party games of the past 4 to 5 years. The system is more impressive than I expected. Price is less than I expected. Game prices are bonkers. Nothing that made me have the new hardware lust that I usually have. If Switch 1 games got a bump in performance natively, I'd be a lot more interested. Now, having said that, I did, because like Matt, who works at GameStop, had posted like the trade-in prices that they're giving for like the Switch OLED and Switch Lite and original Switches, and I was like, man, I could trade in my OLED and my Switch Lite and knock a huge chunk off of that price.
Right.
And again, that solves most of my issues that I have with the Switch. And then it's like, then I could actually kind of enjoy some of these games. But then at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like, I have a Switch, and there's been games where I'm like, oh, that looks cool, I might play that, and then they just come and go, and I don't even bother.
I do that a lot with Switch. Yeah,
I'm at the point where it's like, I might play Metroid Prime 4, maybe. I don't know. Like, to me, it's like, yeah, that looks like a Metroid Prime game, and there's something about that series where I was like, I fucking loved that first game and then had no desire to play any of the others. And I kind of get the same feeling about the fourth one. Yeah. And the only thing that even draws me to it is like, it has been a really long time though. Right. So, there's that aspect to it.
One of my questions that I didn't look up at all, but like when they did the Xbox One to Xbox Series, you could get a new controller, but you could still use the last gen controller. And I think the same is true for 360 and Xbox One. I don't know though. I think maybe plug-in controllers. I
think on the Xbox One you can use a 360 controller when you're playing older games, but not for the Xbox One games. And it's the same thing with the Switch 2. Yeah, you can hook up a Switch 1 Pro controller or Joy-Con, but only when you're playing Switch 1 games.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bummer.
Oh, and also the new Joy-Cons are $90.
Oh, good.
Does it come with because I think the original Switch came with like the thing that you can put the Joy-Cons in.
It still comes with that, yes.
Oh, if it comes with that, man, you're set. That's awesome.
I mean, I still hate the feeling of those Joy-Cons, so I would be buying a Pro controller because
but I'm saying like if you're on a budget, that's what you were bringing up, the money thing and whatever in the games. It's like, that's okay then, because then I can play my Switch games. You're saying with the trade-in price, I can still play them as long as but what about third-party controllers? They'll all work.
Probably on a case-by-case basis. There's probably some stuff like outlier stuff that wouldn't, but I bet most of your stuff would.
But with the Switch though, it's like they don't make a ton of variety. So like you do end up buying like kind of cheap ones just because it's like, ooh, that feels good in my hand, because it all works. You know what I mean? So like. That's interesting. That's a weird conundrum. And then coming out in the summer is weird. It would be interesting to hear from your listeners that have kids what this does to the kid buying budget. I would be interested because this is so weird.
I hope that our listeners aren't buying additional kids because they already have fucking many of them.
The kid market right now, Julian, it's booming. Everybody's buying kids, buying them up.
The problem is the scalpers. They buy a lot of them at once.
They'll get you.
Yeah.
Like because it's like the summer, so it's like you can get it in June, but like kids are like out of school, which is good, but like they already have an activity set. Like it's too late to be like, I'm gonna hang out at home and play the Switch.
Yeah, like you can't buy them for cheap. Then you're gonna have to pay for a lot of money for those kids.
That kid's gonna have to wait till like Christmas.
Yeah,
I mean, is that the deal?
You don't want
that
Christmas
kind of sucks.
Kids. You don't want Christmas kids.
I mean, at this point, who knows what's gonna happen, man? Because like them saying that like they're delaying the pre-order because like
oh boy, yeah,
like that, man, like. Because I understood that like this could potentially affect the video games industry. I didn't expect it to hit this because literally it was like what today that they announced this, right? So it was like 2 days after they announced like when pre-orders are going to start. They're like, hey, pre-orders are delayed because like this. It's still coming out on June 5th. We just don't know how much it's going to be.
Noted only for the United States that it's delayed.
Yes,
should be noted.
And there is a version of the console in Japan that's like about $200, basically less.
Interesting,
but it's region locked to Japan.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Which they haven't done that in quite a while.
That's interesting.
Can I ask you a question about that? Is that really a thing anymore?
It wasn't until this week.
Yep.
Like everything was like open. And then they're like, no, but we have this cheaper one that's only for Japan and only plays Japanese games.
Right, but I'm saying, like, other than speaking Japanese, can I just play it if I get one?
I mean, you will only be able to play Japanese games, and you will have to set up a Japanese account.
Yeah. But like
Yeah,
for
but-
$200, I'll learn Japanese. My phone knows Japanese.
If you want to, I mean, sure, Mike. Like, I guess with most like Nintendo-made games, you're probably not going to have a hard time with like language stuff. But like,
Yeah, what do you think? They
anything
don't
else,
keep English from Japanese people now? Is that really a thing?
I mean, yeah, there's
Because
like a lot.
I feel like Japanese audio is an option in games. In some games.
Depends.
It is, but I'm. Well, I guess that's a good point. I don't know if like the Japanese games would natively have like. I don't know what the situation is over there these days as far as if you're in Japan and you're buying like a Japanese Switch 1 game, I don't know if it has if it has English as an option or not. It very well could, because like a lot of games do have multiple options these days, but it wouldn't surprise me, especially with like the size of Switch cartridges, that like no, it's just Japanese, because that's all we could fit in the
Hard to say. Yeah.
I want to look something up. If you guys just bear with me a second.
No.
Yeah.
Just,
Unbearable. No.
I wanted
Can't do
to.
it.
Okay, here we go. I wanted to see just phrases that I would need to know in Japanese to be able to play.
The big one is yes and no, so you know when you're like confirming.
No.
and-
I got the right ones. Sorry. That's let's a go.
Oh, good. Good
I
job.
wanted to say it's a me Mario.
Good job. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ooh, here we go.
それは私マリオです
That's good.
I've got a lot of it.
Pretty
There you
pretty
go.
sure pretty sure he's still gonna say it's a me Mario in
Oh,
the
okay.
Japanese
So I don't need to
version.
know that one.
Yeah, you don't need to know that one.
Um,
Yeah, you should be good.
Yeah.
や
Easy.
Get that?
What else? Oh, wow.
ーわは
Nailed it.
I like how they cut out a few of them. That's
Mario.
はマリオ
they are busy.
Got it.
That's true.
Right, I'm ready.
You're
So
you're
that
good.
should-
I think you're gonna be all
All
right.
that Japanese I just have to memorize, and then I can play basically all the Switch games that are out in Japan.
There you go.
Yeah, but you're probably gonna end up paying like $200 in shipping, like at the end of the
That
day.
is also true. And to have a thing, depends.
Not if I
Shipping's
use wind
shipping's not
power
as
or
bad,
something.
but then again, the tariffs, who knows?
We live in unprecedented times, Justin.
We sure do. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we know about the Switch 2 so far. You know, I won't rule it out like I did before, simply because, you know, well, one, I have a better paying job now, but also if it's a system that actually addresses all of the problems that I had with the original Switch, and I can just plug this thing into my TV and just never think about the Joy-Con shit and play
Yeah.
it with a real controller and just not even treat it as a portable, I'm kind of good with that. But
Yeah,
again,
it might be all right.
you know, I don't play a lot of Nintendo games, so I would still run into a situation where it's like, do I end up just buying like a new Fire Emblem game and then playing that,
It's
and then maybe
probably
one other
ju-
Nintendo
that's
game, and
what-
like that's not.
I know. That's
it's
kind
not a
of
good
where I'm at. Yeah.
Well,
Why? This is where I get confused with you, Julian. I always lose you at the end with Nintendo. You said you hated the mouse feature. You think the camera's dumb.
Mhm.
Why would you get it?
I just said because if it addresses all the issues that I had with the Switch, which is that
Yeah.
it's an underpowered, shitty console,
That's
it's a
it?
bad
That's-
portable.
Wow. I couldn't believe that was the only explanation.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Again, if the Switch 1 games looked and ran better, just if by like natively, that would be a much bigger like thing for me, where I'd be like, oh man, yeah, I'm gonna pop in like Link's Awakening remake, and it's gonna like, you know, run really nice now, and like, you know, if like I could just pop in Tears of the Kingdom and it actually runs really well, and I don't have to pay. Like, I probably would even pay just like the $10 upgrade to do that if I felt like playing that game again. Because I remembered looking at someone that did like a 4K 60 mod to Tears of the Kingdom. I got angry.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what we could have had.
Right.
And now you can have it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's pretty cool. Because I looked today, I was like, how many Switch games do I own? And I own a fair bit. Like I've got about like 15 or 16 games, but
Not nothing.
it's not nothing.
Yeah.
But I could play those games anytime, and I just choose not to.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like there's so much shit that comes out that is like right up my alley. Where like a lot of the Nintendo stuff is like, I would play that, but it's not like a must have. Where it's like, no, there are so many must play games that are coming out like on a monthly basis for PlayStation and Xbox. Where it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I got too much to play.
I have to be honest. The experience of being a Switch player and then getting to kind of have it on my PC to kind of like. Not having Game Pass really changes your entire experience with the Switch. And so like, I feel like if I buy games that I like, they're there forever. Like, I feel like I have, for the Switch above any other system, it's like, oh, every game, like, I think there's 2 games I bought through the entire lifespan of it where I'm like, no, nuh-uh, wasted money, waste of time, gotta send it back. But like, when you have Game Pass, you can play so much. If they really should have Game Pass. Have they not announced anything like actually Game Pass? Like playing old games is nothing. Like that's not so helpful. That's a nice extra feature because you have to pay for that service basically to just play Mario Kart Online. So like if you just want to play like multiplayer, you have to pay for the service. So it's like that's like a fun bonus thing they give you. Not having a Game Pass though is kind of like it's a drag, man.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have that.
I don't think they are, and I think honestly, because we've talked about this recently, where it's like I understand why like they did what they did with Game Pass because they've been so far behind the competition. Where they're like, yo, like all of our stuff, like all of our first party stuff, you just get that on Game Pass in perpetuity, and also like all of our brand new first party stuff is on Game Pass day and date, and like it's just part of your membership, and it's like. I get it, but I feel that they have been doing themselves a disservice with that. Like, I think Game Pass has shown that it's a good enough like thing just as a service where they could pull that back by quite a bit. Where it's like, hey, first party stuff like at launch is no longer like on Game Pass. It's going to come out 6 months later. So if you want it, you can wait. But if you want to play it right away, you still have to pay $60 or whatever. Because I think that like they've gotten all of like the Game Pass subscribers they can get, and
That's
I don't
true. But at the same
I
time,
think they're just losing game sales.
You're probably right, but at the same time, the outrage of them doing that and then maybe losing the subscribers that they have is also a dodgy concept.
They couldn't do it mid console cycle. It would have to be something that happens with next gen.
There you go. That I could agree with. Yeah, then people, I could see that. They're kind of are all in it now, but
I think it was a really big mistake of Sony to like completely bork PS Plus like mid console cycle. I still don't understand how PS Plus works anymore.
I really need clue. To don't even give a shit. Yeah.
All I know is I play a lot more games on the Xbox than I do on the Switch. It's not, and I would never think of owning. I just, I'm trying to say something like succinctly, but then I keep thinking of it rambly. No, I'm gonna skip it. It just takes too long to explain something.
There's a lot of games on Game Pass that are
filling your own emotions about like how convenient Game Pass is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of games that come to Game Pass where it's like I probably wouldn't buy that myself, but it's on Game Pass, so I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And it's great for that stuff, and it's great for discovering like smaller games or like certain older games where it's like, oh man, like I always wanted to play that, and now it's on Game Pass. Awesome. My thing is that like I would have bought Indiana Jones. I would have bought Avowed. I would would buy Fable when it comes out, right? But I don't have to because it's just part of my Game Pass subscription.
Here's my succinct. You made me think of it, Julian, by talking about Great Circle, Indiana Jones. Like, it's hard in the modern age to feel like a subscription model is a good model, but like because of how many shitty subscriptions we all have to pay, I kind of feel like there are certain things like Hulu is one, and like Game Pass is another, where I'm just like, that's a great deal to have a subscription to.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many shit subscriptions we all have to do on top of like bills, which are basically subscriptions to life. And like,
true.
Life subscriptions. And it's like you don't want that model in your entertainment all the time. I feel like it still feels shitty, but like, man, I just think Game Pass is great.
No, it is. Absolutely.
That's how I want to pay for games in that instance. If I want to play AAA, I mean, I've played so many games. It's awesome, and I would never think of canceling it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I think that's succinct enough.
I think it's one of the, you know, there's a few things that I think Xbox has been doing better than the competition for a while. And I think that there's been a lot of like consumer friendly stuff that they've been doing for a while where it's like Nintendo and Sony are like, get fucked.
Yeah.
We're not like, it's
pretty much.
It's kind of amazing. And again, I feel that like if like a lot of the Xbox exclusive stuff that's coming out, well, never mind. I was going to say, if that stuff wasn't already proven to be coming to PlayStation 5, and I'm sure Switch 2 down the pike now,
yeah,
there was a potential where they could have started to right the ship and maybe like gain some ground. But it ain't gonna happen with like the way that they're going. But again, I don't think they want it. I don't think they care anymore. I think
they want to get out of the hardware business as fast as possible. I think your ultimate dream, Mike, is for Xbox to stop making consoles and for them to start putting Game Pass on everything else. So you have it on
we've talked about this all the way back to where with me talking about the mildness of the in television Amico,
right?
Of that ambition. Like,
yes,
I like Julian. I was so happy you said this on the show because I was watching a YouTube channel with the GF, and
Guardian Force
with the Guardian Force, Guardians of the Galaxy, and this person was saying all about how, like, oh, the Xbox, this is an Xbox campaign was stupid, and I was like, I think that's great. What are you talking about?
I thought that was brilliant because it's exactly what they're trying to convey.
It explains exactly what they want, and explains like my amazement at like cloud gaming and all this other shit of how easy it is to just like, if you've got the, like, how many devices there are now that Xbox is like, man, you got the gigabytes, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you're good, man. That's all we need. Like, I thought it was brilliant. It made me, until they were saying the Switch 2 was coming out so soon, it made me go on this rabbit hole of looking at like Steam Deck adjacent like things, tablet,
There's
portable,
a lot of those. Yep.
portable laptop / Steam Deck look things.
Oh yeah,
like a ROG Ally or something like that.
That's the first one that came to mind.
Oh yeah, my dick's not made of money, but if it was, I'd slice off a few pastrami chunks and, you know, chuck it towards
it visually.
Neither did I, but I stuck with it.
He went for it.
I thought that. Can I be honest with the audience? I felt that it was both braggadocious and vulgar to imagine me like taking off inches of it. First of all, like inches, like how big, like, you know, like, oh, and then there's still some dick left. And so then I wanted to like shave it off, and then I didn't like that it chose pastrami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I blew my wad on
Mike.
sliced
I don't mean
too
Mike.
soon.
Mike, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Happy Scotster Day, everyone.
I thought it was Scotster Day.
All right.
Sorry, my headphones weren't working. Did you play the effect?
Yeah, I did.
Wait, just one more time, just
No.
in case I missed it.
Nope. Unfortunately, Mike, Scotster Day is one
it's
and
my
done.
birthday.
It's not your birthday.
It's not your birthday, Mike.
It was.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it was at some point.
It was.
And a very unbirthday to me. Come on, one more.
All right.
I think it's in the budget.
Is it from a song?
Yes.
What
it's
song?
a real song. Don't let the bastards grind you down by the toasters.
Oh man, I could get into Scott any moment. A lot of you have lived through COVID. A lot of you have lived through COVID-19, which is probably harrowing for you. Some of us, though, lived through the early 2000s ska craze, and it lives within us. It's a bug within all of us.
Yeah, that's right.
It can come back at any time. You're supposed to get like a vaccine for it when you're older.
Yeah, you never know.
I like how you said a lot of you have lived through COVID, as if there's people listening to this show that did not live through it.
Dead people, ghosts. Yeah, just canonically ghosts in the show.
There's like some 1-year-olds.
The ghosts of 2020. Yeah, the ghosts listen to this show. It's a big part of our listeners. Ghosts.
That's why their age and location is all over the place.
That's why it's all crazy. Yeah.
Still living through it, by the way. Like, you know, it hasn't gone away.
I will never not bring it up. I say it every time I'm on this show. If you think you did something shitty during COVID and everyone's going to forget, nope, not me. Not me. I remember. If you were ridiculous about that disease and didn't help, I remember. The June remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
You tell him.
No, I still think about not being able to get toilet paper for a long time, and then you think we would learn our lesson, but then all of a sudden it started to happen with eggs too, and it's like those actually go bad though. Like at least with the toilet paper, you're just set for life if you like went too hard on that. But like, what are you gonna do with all those eggs?
Let me tell you something about the toilet paper thing. I was so annoyed by that because I hate having to go out and buy toilet paper. It's one of my, like, when you buy it in the rolls of 12. So like before COVID, I would always simply infrequently buy like a large crate of toilet paper, basically like a cube that people were buying. And so then when COVID happened, I was like, this is so annoying. They're out of my it's always in stock because I rarely buy toilet paper.
Right.
I buy the giant cube of it so that you don't have to, you make some closet dedicated to it. That's it.
That's the toilet paper
And then
closet.
also people seeing you try to purchase the cube were just like, look at this asshole.
Look at, there's another one of these assholes trying to bulk up on toilet paper.
Yeah. And that's just what you do.
So
on
annoying.
a regular basis.
It was so upsetting. Yeah, it was just my thing.
Yeah. And I'm not that hardcore about it, but I do, like, when I buy toilet paper, I buy like a really large thing of it, and then like as it's starting to go down, I buy another one. So I've got like a lot of toilet paper on hand usually.
That's good.
Because I hate I also hate buying toilet paper.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a pallet. I'm saying like a big amount, a large amount. Amounts of people were trying to buy,
like a case.
Yeah, a case.
Yeah,
for a party. Not something small.
Toilet
not a
paper
6-pack.
parties.
A toilet paper
We've
party.
all been there.
Grapefruit Riot, man. People don't talk about Grapefruit Riot.
They don't.
They sure don't.
It's an incredible song. Couldn't go anywhere without hearing it.
Are you talking about Zoot Suit Riot?
Whatever it is. I think the
Zoot
Weird Al
Riot.
version is Grapefruit Riot.
That's probably the Weird Al version, yeah.
Yeah.
The Cherry Poppin' Daddies. They were out there. You had to watch out for them. Hell of a name. Worked out well for them, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a show,
I
gentlemen.
think that's a show.
How
Before
could
I
that
start
be a show?
Before I start
We didn't even
talking
talk
about the
I played
swing
one
craze.
game I played.
And if you notice, we
talked about
didn't
Avowed.
play any.
So, wow, what a coincidence. I get to talk about me.
There's a lot of Switch 2 talk to be had, Mike Fallek, and we appreciate you joining us for our monumental 50th
Can I
episode.
tell you about one game I played? Then we'll go. Then we'll move on to the end.
Okay.
It wouldn't be an episode with me if I didn't like annoy you a little bit more.
Oh, you already have. It's just it's
I'm
not in
aware.
the actual.
More. I said more. Extra Girls Gone Wild. Too Hot for TV. Jerry Springer.
Mm.
Okay, what other game did you play, Mike?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, start the timer. You have 5 to 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes.
Oh, do I really? I thought you
No.
were going to say 1. Okay. So I played Psychonauts 2.
Okay.
Well, first I played Psychonauts 1. Because,
Mhm.
like, one of the reasons I was excited to get access to the Xbox was Psychonauts 2. And I wanted to play Psychonauts 1. Turn on Psychonauts 1. It's a sort of upgraded version of the game. Love that era of gaming. Never got to play it as a kid. It sucks. Sucks shit. Sucks ass. Psychonauts 1 sucks ass. It's hard. It's hard in the way that, like, shit. Like, every time somebody lists a 3D platformer game or 3D game from that era and they're like, it's so bad. I was like, yep, all games were bad back then. They were all
No,
bad.
They weren't.
They
but
well,
continue.
no, they weren't. They weren't. But a lot of them were just shitty. A lot of them just didn't work. And like, if you were just one of the unlucky people that like got it, you could get a game and you would accept back then, or that 3D platform era of whatever. It's just like character wouldn't jump up. It just wouldn't do a thing. It wasn't fun. It couldn't control well. It happened. So I was expecting it with Raz and the Psychonauts. Then I turned to Psychonauts 2. God damn, if I didn't cry my eyes out. It was an incredible game, beautiful game. It made things fun in games that I didn't think were fun. Like, there's collectibles. I had fun with the collectibles, getting these. It was so cool. It was like the games of the 2000s that like never really existed. They just did like basic stuff, but it was done actually well, which is kind of what I've heard about Ukulele, to be honest, now that I'm saying it out loud. but it was just incredible. The story was really amazing. I didn't expect the story to hit like right in the gut, like right in the tears.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it always sounds, the story part does sound pretty good.
The gameplay's really fun. The levels are really, really cool. There's this weird sense of scale and trippiness and going into people's minds and things, and it's really fun. It's like it is, in my opinion, probably one of the best games I've ever played.
Wow.
Yeah, in terms of just the whole experience of the emotions, of how intuitive it was, I would say game of the generation, because it's like one of the first games they made for the series. My vote would definitely go to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still in the generation, so it seems a little presumptuous, but
You put the champion on the pedestal and it is up to challengers to dethrone him. That's not for me to say. That's for people to step up. You know, what else is coming out? Avowed isn't better. Listen, there were some nice stories in Avowed. There's some nice stuff that I saw. Don't feel like I'm dismissing it, like you were there for the story, because it definitely reeks of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, this game wouldn't, like, definitely had some, like, adjustments because of Baldur's Gate 3. So there's stuff in there. There's cool stories. It's in there. Don't worry.
I like how you said reeks of Baldur's Gate 3 like it's a negative. Like,
I do with my RPGs not want them to smell the same. Normally I don't. Normally I like the influence of a good game on other good games. But like with RPGs, I'm like, I want you to have an original stank. Like that's part of the RPG world, is that the stank is new.
Well, I mean, I feel that like what I saw of like the world of Avowed felt very different.
It is very different. It maintains its stank. It maintains a distinct stank, but a little bit there's a little bit of somebody else's stank there. That's okay. It's just a little bit of somebody else's stank. It's fine. Anyway, play Psychonauts 2 if you have, and if you have Game Pass, it's fucking free.
Oh, there you go.
Go play it. It's so good. It's just great.
Cool.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't want to talk about it? You guys haven't played it.
No, I don't.
We haven't. Like,
what else have I played?
The only thing I can think of, like every time that I hear about Psychonauts 2, I just think of like the filibuster on Giant Bomb Game of the Year that year, where like one person really tried to get that game into the like top slot. It's like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, just let go.
It was a whole thing.
Well, I agree with that person. I want to find them. Who was it? They need support. They need my
Void
support.
Burger. You can go find her on YouTube. I think she's still doing YouTube stuff.
I think they do that. Yeah.
She's not with Giant Bomb anymore.
Okay, Void Burger.
Yes.
All right, there you go. I will find them. I don't want to brag, but I think I can Kevin Bacon this and find this person.
I mean, yeah, you just go to youtube.com and
I've
search
got a
for
device.
Void
It's
Burger.
called Microsoft Edge.
That's true. He does
It's
have
called
the
Edge.
edge
That's a
on
show,
all
I
of
think,
us.
Gives
Justin.
me the
That's a show.
advantage
That's a show.
over my competition.
And just in time, because the 5-minute mark
the edge,
is up.
if you will.
I was
Excellent.
keeping track.
Yeah.
I was prepared with buttons to
Now, I
play
wanna
you
say-
off.
I want to say, Justin, I respect the time thing. I took my time seriously. I spelled
did.
my piece.
You were
I asked if
concise.
there were questions, and it was actually the boss. It was actually Julian Titus who was the one who's distracted and went somewhere else.
Anyway,
So
that's
I
a
want
show.
I want it on the record for next time, and I want points.
You get points for not pissing Justin off for once. I was pretty impressed with that.
I never piss him off. This is all.
He's gotten me a couple times. Let's be real.
Yeah. So we could keep going though, if that's what you wanted.
Nah.
It's not what I want, actually. I'm hungry and I would like to go to bed.
I am tired.
Yeah. No,
It's
I know.
that time.
I just realized, Justin, Julian, you like wake up earlier than us. Like you've been up later in theory, in some way of math, right? Because you're behind. Right? Doesn't that make sense?
No.
No, I mean,
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't
No.
actually.
Has to be the same amount of time either way because
Yeah,
we woke up later, but it's a different time.
it's a different time.
Justin gets the worst of it because Justin wakes up super early for work,
Yeah,
and then he does this show really late into the night.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if my time math was right, and that somehow maybe secretly then Julian actually still wakes up earlier. But there's no way.
Yeah.
No, Justin's still the Time Lord of the show.
It's what you're doing it from home too. Now
Yeah.
you didn't have to commute or anything this week.
Yeah, this would be a very different. We would have already finished a while ago if I had to like commute like today because
Julian would have been like,
would have been a
the
long
Switch
day.
2 came out. Who fucking cares? Let's move
Pretty
on.
Mike, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
The 50th episode kind of snuck up on me, and I was like, "Shit, we should do something for the 50th episode." That's kind of a milestone.
You got the perfect man for the job, Julian.
I did.
Yeah.
It was,
so I was
it
glad
was
you
a
were available.
momentous occasion. I loved it. I
It
was
was fun.
itching to talk to you guys.
I know. You should
Absolutely.
get a cream for that, though.
Yeah, it's a powder nowadays. Nobody uses cream. You don't use cream. Use like an ointment.
I mean,
Ointment, cream. Who's
Yeah.
keeping track?
Not me.
I know.
it's like
Not
Apparently
me.
It's like
you are
sorbet and
because you
sherbet.
just brought up the point.
No, but
you
now
know.
the cool kids are against it, so I switched sides.
Okay, well there you go. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
I just
All right.
folded with peer pressure.
That's
Like, I
good.
hate that. I hate that. Even though I'm like stuffing my cream magazines into my cream and ointment, periodicals
Yeah,
into the
that's
trash.
fair. That's fair.
Mm.
There are a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
periodicals
yeah.
on cream and
Yeah,
ointment.
yeah.
Who
I don't want
doesn't?
so
to know.
many.
So
Man,
many.
I hate all of them. I'm not subscribed to
No,
any of
that's
them.
true.
I'm
That's
part of the
true.
cool kids. I don't care about what the difference between them.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
it's all good.
Thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. Thanks to friend of the show, John Gholson, for being our announcer and providing us with our artwork. But that's going to do it for this edition.
And
God
the
damn it.
Oh, but I wanted to say something that people like. I have a special little intro from John. I know people hear it, but like not everybody gets that. John does a special little voice for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had him like pre-record intros for like a lot of our regular guests. I actually,
Yeah.
he's hopefully going to provide like some new ones for like
We got new friends.
regular guests,
Yeah.
like new people that we've met, and also a few that I'm just like kind of oh man, this is crazy. Before we go, so like a lot like last year, I had just randomly tweeted out some of my dream guests for the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, some of my dream guests are Dan Shu from EGM,
Sure.
Jeff Green from Games for Windows, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Dyack, Ben Starr, and like some VTubers. And I said, like, I don't think I'll ever get them, but like it's fun to dream big. And like yesterday, I was like looking, I don't get on Twitter that much, but I was like had a notification. I was like, that's weird. I don't remember like seeing like a notification of that notification. And I look, and Dennis Dyack liked that. And I'm like,
Interesting.
man, that's cool. But and he had like a verified check, and I was like, there's no way to know if that's like a real person anymore. And then I looked at the profile, and it was like, Dennis Dyack followed you. And I was like, fucking hell, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'll find out real fast if it's the real guy or not.
Yeah.
And like I said on the show before, it's like I don't want to like get that guy on to like do like hard hitting journalism and be
No.
like, what the hell happened with like Silicon? Like, no. I find that guy super fascinating, and like I want to know about how he got into the business, and I wanted to talk to him about like, yo, so remember when you talked about the one console future and everybody kept laughing at you? Don't you feel like pretty like awesome now? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it just seems like we're barreling towards that future ever
Right.
faster. So we'll see. Like that's kind of
So
huge.
you think it's the real deal? Sounds like you
I
think
think
it's
it
the real
might.
deal.
But so because I thought that he wasn't on social media besides LinkedIn, but I looked at that account and he doesn't post stuff personally. He retweets stuff, but it's all Dennis Dyack related stuff. But it goes back for quite a few years, so he would have probably had that verified check before the quickening.
Yeah.
So it might actually be the dude.
Never know.
They do actually charge you for it. Even if you've had it before, I knew some people that had it before, and they still do charge you for it.
Yeah.
Basically. And so then, and at one point there was a symbol briefly for like very important figures who like basically used to have the check mark that don't anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And they got rid of that.
Yeah, probably.
But it sounds like it's fucking him, because that would be insane to make a fake account for someone like that.
It
to
would
use
be.
it so
Yeah.
appropriately.
And just use it to retweet things. That would be
Yeah,
weird.
to, to use it for the right reasons. Like,
Yeah.
And very infrequent retweets where it's like, oh, there's this interview with me. I retweeted that.
Yeah.
And then like, no personal posts. And then it's like, oh, and then I was on this thing. So I retweeted that. It's like very much like the way that someone in his age bracket who's in an industry, but not quite in an industry anymore would use something like that.
That
so I'm
sounds
like,
right.
this might be legit.
Might be.
So, I'm going to wait a little bit and I'm going to send a DM and say, hey, like, I'm not sure if this is actually you or not, but this is what I'd like to do. Like, I don't want to bring you on for some sort of gotcha moment. I just really want to talk to you genuinely. It's just like a person who's a interesting person in the industry that, like has
It's a perfect trap.
Like, I've always liked,
We'll get him.
hearing
We'll
him
gotcha
on
him
podcasts.
for sure.
What?
If you tell him that, we'll gotcha him for sure. That's a great trap. He'll never see it coming. That's the best way to gotcha him.
Right.
Yeah. And then we'll get him in here and just catch him. Catch him good.
All right. But that is going to do it for this edition of the Stage Select. Look, we just crossed the 4-hour mark. Hooray.
We did it. Good job.
Why does
I've been
mine say
Julian-
5 hours? This call has been 5 hours? Oh, because me and you talk because you did something nice for me. And
Yes.
then I should probably let you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. Very special thanks to Mike Fallek.
No problem.
We've been the Stage Select. Signing off.
Uh-huh.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.